Chapter 1716. Oh, Shield Bro, you're taking on a private job? Isn't your job to protect me and Yao Yao?
Yushu asked.
Not really, I've already resigned last time. We're just good friends now. Lin Yi smiled. I see. Looks like I can't stop you. Be careful then, Yushu said helplessly. She was actually worried that Lin Yi would be in danger. Last time Lin Yi went to the tomb, he almost died. If it weren't for that boss Yu being a coward, Lin Yi wouldn't have come back so easily. Yushu was really worried that something would happen to Lin Yi. I will, Lin Yi said. Before I came here, I always took on missions like this. Lin Yi comforted Yushu like that, but he knew that the missions he took on before weren't that high-leveled, so the money wasn't that much. A mission like this with 100 million reward was probably on a different level. It would be even more dangerous. The hidden House Yu received the news immediately after the common House Yu was annihilated. Yu Huixing was going crazy with rage. He didn't think that Lin Yi would be this daring to actually wipe out the common House Yu. He stormed over to the hidden House Yu's head, Yu Shaochen, and said in grief, Head Yu, please help us, the common House Yu. With regards to this matter, I beg you to uphold justice for us. We, the common House Yu, have been helping the hidden House Yu earn money, and yet we ended up like this. You must help us, the common House Yu, get justice. Alright, I got it. Yu Huixing, I'm sorry for your loss. I need to understand the ins and outs of this matter before discussing it with my father. Yu Shaochen comforted Boss Yu that Lin Yi is an Earth class and we, the hidden house, are restricted by the Noble House Council. Earth classes can't come out as they please, so it's not easy to deal with Lin Yi. But that Lin Yi is an Earth class. Isn't he restricted by the Hidden House Council? Yu Huixing felt that it was unfair. St. Hall, he's a freelancer, and in the past, there were no precedents of freelancers reaching Earth class. Mystic was already very powerful, and most of them relied on the hidden houses when they were at Mystic. Lin Yi is a special case. Yu Shaochen said, I'll discuss the specifics with my father first. Yes. Yu Huixing sighed sorrowfully. He didn't think that House Yu would be destroyed so soon after he left. This was like a bolt from the blue. How could he stay calm? He wanted to tear Lin Yi into a million pieces right now, but when he remembered that Lin Yi was also an Earth-class early-phase master, and that he knew martial arts, he backed off. Revenge was important, but staying alive was even more important. Yu Huixing's Lin Huixing's heart, Huixing's Yu's heart, Lin Shaochen, Chen Qing. Shaochen was actually quite annoyed as well. There was a saying that went, look at the master before beating the dog. This Lin Yi had challenged the hidden House Yu's bottom line time and time again. First, he'd killed one of the common House Yus, and now he'd sent the father and son of the common House Yu to heaven. This was intolerable. But while he wanted to kill Lin Yi as soon as possible, he didn't show it on his face. After all, this was a huge matter, and he couldn't just make a decision on his own. He had to consider the hidden house's entire benefit. If they really wanted to deal with Lin Yi and got impeached by the Hidden House Council, then it wouldn't be worth it. And so, Shaochen drove up the mountain to find his father, preparing to discuss with him on how to deal with this. On the mountain, it was still Yu Yi who brought Shaochen to the Elder Yu's training area. Shaochen, you're here. The Elder Yu looked at Shaochen and nodded. Father, Yu Huixing came to me just now. He wants us to help them, Shaochen said. And I know about this. It's all because of that Lin Yi. The Elder Yu nodded and said faintly, but read this letter first.
Oh.
What letter? Shaochen paused. He wasn't surprised that his father knew what was going on outside. Although Shaochen could be said to have complete control over House Yu, the old ancestor still had a lot of confidence in House Yu. These people were Yu Yi's eyes and ears, and the old ancestor's information came from them. Of course, as long as Shaochen didn't do anything wrong to House Yu, these people would naturally listen to him. Otherwise, he wouldn't be of much use as the head of the house. This was also why Shaochen always went to the Elder Yu to discuss with him whenever something big happened. But the old Yu suddenly asked him to look at a letter, and this made Shaochen suspicious. He took the letter from the old Yu's hands and started reading it.
Eh?
It's a letter from Yu Bing? Shaochen was surprised. He knew the rules of the Ice Palace, and the new outer disciples didn't have the right to communicate with the house as they pleased, but Yubing didn't have this restriction. And it seems like Yubing is doing quite well in the Ice Palace. The elder Yu praised. If it weren't for Ning, Yubing would be the best candidate to be the head of House Yu. Father, Ning, Xiaochen didn't know much about Yu Ning either. He only had a rough idea, and the old ancestor of House Yu would never go into details. This was also why he felt that Yubing should be the next head of the house. I can't tell you that. It's related to the big secret of House Yu's rise. The elder Yu said, the time isn't right yet, so I can't tell you in detail. The big secret of House Yu's rise? Yu Xiaochen frowned. Isn't Xiao Ning supposed to accept some kind of inheritance? But what kind of inheritance is it? Is there hope? Isn't it something you saw in the ancient ruins? Is it really effective? Ancient ruins? That's just what I told others. It's not true at all. Elder Yu shook his head. Lil Chen, do you really think that we, the hidden House Yu, only rose up because we found a so-called ancient ruin? Do you really think that I, your father, am talented enough to break through to sky class just by looking at the ruins? Then, Xiaochen looked at the elder Yu, confused. All you need to know is that we, the hidden House Yu, actually have a backer up there, and Ning's matter was their idea. Old ancestor Yu said, that's all I can say, don't spread it out. Chapter 1720. The whereabouts of the Qi-gathering pill I know. Xiaochen's heart skipped a beat. This was the first time he knew that House Yu had someone backing them. He didn't know this at first, but the elder Yu's words today had shocked him. No wonder his father had always emphasized the importance of Yu Ning. Even when Yu Bing was outstanding, he still looked at her differently. So Yu Ning was someone that the backer of House Yu had his eyes on. Of course, whether or not Ning can stay in House Yu and become the head of the house, I'm not sure, but Ning can become a sky class, that's for sure. The elder Yu said, if Ning can't stay in House Yu, then it's not too late to consider Yu Bing's matter. But right now, the person behind us hasn't said anything, so we can only put Ning first. I see. Xiaochen nodded and continued reading the letter in his hands, but halfway through, he frowned. Why are Yu Bing and Lin Yi together? Why is this kid so reckless? So the Ling Yi that Yushan was talking about is that Lin Yi. Xiaochen frowned and said angrily. He even called Lin Yi his boss? What's going on? Is he trying to defy the heavens? Xiaochen, your personality is still not mature enough. It's been so many years, and you've had to maintain that dignified image in front of outsiders. It's been hard on you. The elder Yu waved his hand, signaling for Xiaochen to calm down. Xiaochen's face reddened. In front of his father, he revealed his true personality, but in front of outsiders, he had no choice. He was the head of the house, and if he showed his emotions on his face, then he'd be looked down upon. Without Lin Yi, Yu Bing might not even be able to come back alive. Wasn't the letter very clear? The elder Yu said with a look of disgust on his face, that Yushan kid is talented, but his intelligence isn't in the right place. He brought this upon himself. This Lin Yi is that strong? He even defeated Zhang Naipeo and Feng Mitian from the ancient sects. Xiaochen didn't really believe it. Yu Bing didn't lie in this letter. Yu Bing was Xiaochen's son, but Yushan said the same thing, and Yu Bing said the same thing. Yushan might have lied more often, but for the sake of fairness, he couldn't just believe Yu Bing's words. This letter is for Ning. Is there a need for Yu Bing to lie? The elder Yu waved his hand and passed another letter to Xiaochen. The one you saw before was for Ning. It's just a casual conversation between siblings. There's no need for Yu Bing to lie, but this is the one Yu Bing asked Ning to pass to us.
Oh.
Yu Xiaochen quickly took the letter from the elder Yu and started reading it. This letter was a lot more formal than the previous one. Yu Bing first greeted the elders of the house and then described what happened in the test, but he didn't mention anything about Yushan framing him or Lin Yi. After that, Yu Bing changed the topic, saying that Yu Huixing actually got a Qi-gathering pill, but didn't give it to House Yu, but took it for himself. Yu Bing was very sure that the source of this information was very accurate. There was someone in the test who could prove this, but he didn't say who it was. Are you done? The elder Yu asked. I've read it already. The thing that Yu Bing said. Xiaochen wasn't surprised that the two letters were in the hands of House Yu's old ancestor. On the surface, House Yu was under his control, but in reality, the old ancestor was in charge of most of the things. It should be true. There's no need for him to lie, and Yu Huixing doesn't have any conflict of interest with him. The elder Yu said, but it's true that he's friends with Lin Yi, and if we don't go against House Yu because of this, we won't go against Lin Yi. This is probably the reason why Yu Bing brought this up. The elder Yu's eyes were very sharp. He noticed the secret behind it immediately. I see. Xiaochen realized he didn't even think about the deeper reason. Then this Lin Yi. This Lin Yi is a genius, a freelancer, and he became an Earth-class early phase in just a few years. This is unbelievable. The elder Yu said he had just broken through to Mystic late phase during the test, and now he's an Earth-class early phase? This is a rare talent. You're right, father. Xiaochen didn't think that his father would praise Lin Yi like this, but from what he could see, this Lin Yi wasn't simple at all. He was able to wipe out the common House Yu, and now he was able to beat Yu Xuexing, who had taken the pill. This was the same as skipping levels. It's a shame that we don't have the ability to recruit Lin Yi. The elder Yu sighed. With Ning's relationship, there's no way Lin Yi will be of use to us, unless Ning marries him. Why can't I? Xiaochen paused. Lin Yi is so young, and he's already an Earth class. This is rare even in the hidden houses, let alone a freelancer. The inheritor must be a virgin girl, or she won't be able to accept the inheritance. The elder Yu said, this is also why I stopped Ning from dating. These young people, if they act rashly, the consequences will be unimaginable. This is an order from our House Yu's backer. Ning can't be in a relationship. So that's how it is. Xiaochen understood. If Ning can't marry Lin Yi, then we really don't have the ability to recruit Lin Yi. But we don't have to be enemies for now. Elder Yu said, the Grand Elder of the Hidden Houses Arbitration Council hasn't shown himself in a long time, and the others are getting restless and ready to break the rules. But before they break the rules, we, House Yu, can't be the first bird.
Oh.
The other hidden houses want to break the rules as well? Xiaochen asked. Chapter 1717. I see. Yu Xiaochen nodded. Yu Bing's letter gives us an excuse not to stand up for House Yu. Naturally. Elder Yu nodded. I'll leave these 2 letters to you. Give one to Ning. Tell her to come visit me when she's free. I want to have a good talk with her. You know what to do with the other one, right? Understood. I'll go look for Yu Huixing right now. Xiaochen said. Yu Huixing was overjoyed to hear that Yu Xiaochen was looking for him so quickly, thinking that House Yu was going to help the common House Yu. He quickly came to Yu Xiaochen's room and spoke respectfully. House Yu, may I ask what the elder said? Are you going to avenge our common House Yu? After all, we've been working hard all these years helping the hidden House Yu earn money. We've been handing over most of it. Huixing, it's not that I don't want to help you, but how can we help you with what you've done? Xiaochen's face was dark. Do you think that we, the hidden house yes, are idiots? Yu Huixing paused, not understanding what Yu Xiaochen was talking about. House head, what do you mean? Yu Huixing asked nervously. What do I mean? Take a look at this letter yourself. With that, Yu Xiaochen tossed Yu Bing's letter to Yu Huixing. Other than greetings to the family, it also talked about Yu Huixing. There weren't any secrets that he couldn't let Yu Huixing. Letter? What letter? Yu Huixing looked at Xiaochen's face and had a bad feeling. He carefully took the letter from Xiaochen's hands, but he was a little surprised. This was a letter from home. What did it have to do with him? It seemed like it was from one of House Yu's juniors. Yu Huixing looked at the signature and saw that it was Yu Bing. He was even more surprised, but he still read it patiently. After all, Xiaochen wouldn't just give him a letter for nothing. There had to be a reason. But when Yu Huixing read that Yu Bing didn't hand over the qi-gathering pill, his face changed drastically. He didn't understand. How did someone know about this secret back then? I saw the news a few days ago. Weren't the couple, Blackie, and the other grave robbers caught in one fell swoop? Who else knows about this? But no matter what, this matter was exposed, and Yu Bing's tone was very certain. This meant that he had solid proof, and Yu Huixing couldn't deny it. If Yu Bing had used a maybe or guess tone, then Yu Huixing would have had some room to maneuver. How's head you?
I.
Yu Huixing was scared, not knowing how Xiaochan was going to deal with him. He couldn't find an excuse. Could it be that the pill was given to the hidden House Xiao? If he were to tell the truth, not only would he not be able to avenge House Yu, he might even be slapped to death by Yu Xiaoqin. So Yu Huixing's mind raced, trying to think of a reasonable excuse to avoid House Yu's blame. Me what? I can't think of an excuse anymore? Xiaochun laughed coldly. No. I'm a bit embarrassed to say it. Yu Huixing lowered his head. He'd already thought of an excuse, and he pretended to be embarrassed. What's there to be embarrassed about? Xiaochun frowned. Actually, in the tomb, the male thief was Lin Yi. Yu Huixing started making up a story. He thought of a way to avoid responsibility and frame Lin Yi at the same time. This way, the hidden House Yu would target Lin Yi, and Lin Yi would be done for. The male thief was Lin Yi? Xiaochun paused. Then how could the male thief be Lin Yi? Plus, even if it was Lin Yi, what does that have to do with you not handing over the pill? I'm ashamed to say that my pill was stolen by Lin Yi. Yu Huixing said sadly. Your pill was stolen by Lin Yi? According to what I know, Lin Yi was only a mystic mid-phase peak before he went to the test, right? You were already in Earth class early phase at that time, and you were still scared of Lin Yi? Xiaochun felt that Yu Huixing's words were a bit strange. So, that's why I didn't dare tell you the truth. Yu Huixing said angrily. That Lin Yi may be a mystic mid-phase peak, but he has a trump card that's really strong, and I was poisoned. Yes, poisoned. Even if I was an Earth class, I wouldn't be Lin Yi's opponent. And so my pill was stolen by Lin Yi. Then why didn't you say so earlier? Xiaochun wasn't an idiot. Yu Huixing's words weren't very detailed, and he couldn't just believe it. I was afraid of losing face, wasn't I? I'm an Earth class early phase, and my pill was stolen by a mystic mid-phase peak. How would I be able to face anyone if this got out? Yu Huixing said with a sad face. House head, but you know that Lin Yi does have some tricks up his sleeves. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to kill my brother. After my brother took the pill, he was on par with an Earth class early phase peak, and since Lin Yi can fight above his level, then... I know that Lin Yi has some special abilities, of course. I don't need you to explain. Xiaochun waved his hand. He knew Lin Yi very well. This guy was able to make Feng Nitian and Zhang Naipeo, two disciples from the ancient houses and sects, lose to him. He definitely wasn't a simple character. The question was, how trustworthy could Yu Huixing's words be? Yes, I'm sorry, House Head Yu. I hid the truth before because I was afraid of being punished by the house. Yu Huixing said carefully. Are you telling the truth? Xiaochun frowned. Of course, I don't dare hide anything, Yu Huixing said in fear. If that's the case, then I'll write a letter and ask Yu Bing if Lin Yi really took the pill. Xiaochun said coldly, as if he didn't believe Yu Huixing's words. But in reality, Xiaochun believed most of it already. Yu Bing was on good terms with Lin Yi during the test, so the news of Yu Huixing getting the pill was most likely from Lin Yi as well. Lin Yi and the common House Yu were enemies, and Lin Yi was probably trying to use Yu Bing to spread the news to the hidden House Yu and have them deal with Yu Huixing, or at least not participate in the battle between Lin Yi and the common House Yu. Chapter 17-18. Otherwise, where would Yu Bing have gotten this information from? Don't. Yu Huixing jumped when he heard that Xiaochun was going to ask him. He subconsciously tried to stop him, but regretted it immediately. Wouldn't it mean that he was guilty if he stopped him? Don't? What? You're afraid that your lie will be exposed? Xiaochun had already believed most of it, but now that Yu Huixing was saying this, he was starting to doubt himself. Saint Hall, no. I mean, if you ask him like this, how would Lin Yi admit to it? Yu Huixing said, I'm guessing that it was Lin Yi who told young Master Yu that I got the qi-gathering pill, and his goal was to make you blame me. But you're a wise man. How would you fall for that easily? Yu Huixing was a careful man. He'd heard Xiaochun's words very carefully. He caught on to the fact that Lin Yi had joined the test as well, so he'd be able to frame Lin Yi. No need to flatter me, get to the point. Xiaochun waved his hand. Not buying it. Yes. Yu Huixing continued his analysis. So, think about it, if you were young Master Yu Bing's good friend, would you admit that you stole their qi-gathering pill? What you said is not without reason. Xiaochun nodded, but I'd still write a letter to ask if Lin Yi was the male thief, if he participated in the tomb robbery. That. Yu Huixing was scared, but he couldn't say it out loud. Look, Master, since young Master Yu Bing didn't mention Lin Yi in the letter, it means that he's trying to cover for Lin Yi. How would he admit to it if you asked? If it were me, I'd deny it as well. Oh, it doesn't matter. We just need to pay attention to the technique when we ask. Xiaochun waved his hand casually. When the time comes, I'll just ask him directly. Why didn't he tell me that Lin Yi was a male thief and that he got the qi-gathering pill as well? Why did he hide the truth? I didn't explain in detail and pretended that I knew everything to reproach him. That. Yu Huixing was a little helpless. He had no reason to argue anymore. One had to admit that Xiaochun's suggestion was very logical. As a member of House Yu, Yu Bing wouldn't dare hide anything under such a harsh tone. But if Yu Bing really didn't know anything, no matter how much he blamed him, no matter how much he pretended to know everything, Yu Bing wouldn't admit it. Therefore, Yu Huixing was worried that he had said it on the spur of the moment. What would he do when the truth came out? All right, it's decided then. Xiaochun waved his hand. If it really was Lin Yi, then I won't make it hard for you. I know that Lin Yi has some skills, but if you're just making it up, then you know the consequences. With that, Xiaochun waved his hand impatiently and picked up his teacup. Yu Huixing knew that Xiaochun was asking him to leave, and he could only sigh helplessly. There was no point in talking about this. He could only wait for the final result. Yu Huixing walked back to his place, only to realize that Yu Lu was following him, and it was very blatantly. He knew that he was being watched. I hope that Yu Bing can help me as well. Yu Huixing prayed for a miracle in his heart. Xiaochun watched as Yu Huixing left and quickly rushed to the old ancestors' practicing grounds. This was a huge matter, and he had to discuss it with his father. The old ancestor was a little curious about Xiaochun's return. I say, Xiaochun, why are you back? Is it because of Yu Huixing? Yes, it's because of Yu Huixing. Xiaochun was impressed by his father's sharp eyes. He nodded quickly. Saint Hall, you can't even make a decision on such a small matter? The old ancestor was a little surprised. Xiaochun wasn't someone like that before. Dealing with Yu Huixing wasn't a big deal. Was there a need to discuss it with him? There's something else going on here. Xiaochun shook his head. Father, I did as you asked and showed the letter to Yu Huixing, and he told me the reason behind it. Oh? What reason? The old ancestor was curious as well. What secret could there be? It's like this. Xiaochun repeated what Yu Huixing had said, as well as his analysis of the suspicious points, as well as the credibility of the words. According to what he said, it's possible, but also impossible. The old ancestor nodded. Writing a letter and asking is the right thing to do. You can make the decision yourself. Just tell me the result. It's not a big deal. Yes, I'll write a letter and ask now, Xiaochun replied. After returning from the old ancestors' training grounds, the first thing Xiaochun did was to write a letter blaming Lin Yi. Of course, he didn't go into the details, but he used an affirmative tone to say that he knew that Lin Yi had participated in the tomb robbery and that Lin Yi had gotten the qi-gathering pill. Why didn't Yu Bing report this? As for the details, Xiaochun didn't mention anything. This was also because he didn't want to expose himself. If Yu Bing really did have something to hide, he'd definitely give an explanation after reading this letter. He wrote too much, and it felt like he was trying to cover something up. After writing the letter, Xiaochun walked quickly to his daughter's room. Xiaochun was an Earth-class late-phase peak, and if he didn't make any noise, Yuning wouldn't be able to hear anything. The other disciples and servants of House Yu naturally wouldn't stop him when they saw him. And so, Xiaochun came to Yuning's room without any obstructions, only to find that she was painting. Xiaochun didn't mind that Yuning was painting, but when he saw the person in the painting, he frowned. Ahem. Xiaochun coughed twice. Yuning jumped in fright, and the brush in her hand shook. The painting was ruined. She didn't think that someone would suddenly appear in the quiet room. And when Yuning turned around, she realized that it was her father. Her face reddened, and she wanted to pull down her drawing board. "I've already seen it. There's no need to hide it." Xiaochen had wanted to have a good talk with his daughter, but seeing how infatuated she was still drawing Lin Yi. Target equals _blank. Chapter 1719. In the painting, there was a man and a woman, sitting together in an empty field, looking up at the starry sky. The woman in the painting was Yuning. This made Xiaochen even angrier. So, what if he sees it? Yuning was stubborn as well. Since her father saw it, there was no point in hiding it anymore. You and Lin Yi will never happen, Xiaochen said coldly. "I talked to your grandpa today. Your identity is different. You and Lin Yi will never be together in this life. Stop dreaming." Yuning pursed her lips and didn't say anything, but from her expression, it was clear that she didn't listen to Xiaochen's words at all. After all, she'd heard it too many times and was numb to it. However, she never gave up on that stubbornness. Closing her eyes, Yuning would remember that year, that night, that Valentine's Day, in front of the fire in the cave, the two of them looking at the starry sky together. That was the happiest night Yuning had ever had, and it was a time she'd dreamed of thousands of times. "This is a letter from Yubing," Xiaochen said helplessly, seeing that his daughter wasn't saying anything. He placed the letter on Yuning's desk and turned to leave. "Remember what I said? Lin Yi may have some skills, but he's not worthy of your identity. You're destined to become a sky class of House U and a sky class late phase peak at that. Lin Yi will never be able to surpass you in this lifetime. Dad, don't underestimate him." Yuning wasn't too happy. No one wanted their lover to be belittled by their parents like that. "Underestimate?" Xiaochen shook his head. "Ning, you don't understand it yet, but you'll understand when you get to that step. I'm not afraid of hurting your confidence, but unless Lin Yi has the strength to surpass all the ancient sects, don't even think about it." "I believe he'll do it," Yuning said.
"Him? Do it?"
Xiaochan was amused by his daughter's stubbornness. He couldn't imagine that his daughter would be this infatuated, believing in something like this. "From childhood to adulthood, my sixth sense has always been very accurate," Yuning insisted. Xiaochen shook his head and didn't say anything else. He felt that his daughter had already gone crazy, and there was no point in saying anything more. He could only turn around and leave, letting his daughter think things through on her own. Yuning was at home anyways, and there was no chance for her to see Lin Yi. Xiaochen wasn't worried. Lin Yi and Yushu returned to Songshan, and the first thing they did after dropping Yushu off at home was go to the floating cloud bar. At this moment, the bar had not opened yet. The waiter was cleaning the bar, but the door of the bar was kicked open. Lin Yi didn't waste any time and directly barged in. It wasn't the first time he came to the floating cloud bar, so he was familiar with the place. Sihua had brought Boss Zhu to the orphanage early in the morning to negotiate with the headmaster of the orphanage. He wanted to settle things as soon as possible before anything else happened. Although the fire had destroyed his building, it was still a big crime to set fire to the orphanage. He was afraid that the orphanage wouldn't let him off easily, and if things got out of hand, he'd be in big trouble. Jianong was assigning tasks to the waiters when he saw Lin Yi barge in. He jumped in shock. "Not good. Lin Yi's here," Jianong yelled, warning Zhao Qibing and Yao Wang in the room. Zhao Qibing was in the middle of it all, and he almost went mad from Su Jianong's shout. Although he didn't go mad, all his previous efforts were in vain. The pure qi he had accumulated for the entire night had all dissipated in fear. "Lin Yi, what are you doing here?" Zhao Qibing was a little traumatized. Seeing Lin Yi, he couldn't help but feel the pain in his leg. He couldn't even stand straight. "You don't know why I'm here?" Lin Yi looked at Zhao Qibing with a smile that wasn't a smile. How would I know?" Zhao Qibing remembered that he was now Elder Bai's direct disciple, and his courage returned. Why would he be afraid of Lin Yi? He was now one of the candidates for the head of the house. He was no longer the Zhao Qibing from before. "Oh, I'm actually here to break your leg." Lin Yi said as he walked towards Zhao Qibing. You don't do anything stupid. Zhao Qibing jumped in fright. He wanted to ask Boss Zhu for help, but he suddenly remembered that Boss Zhu was taken away by Xihua to threaten the orphanage's headmaster. In his bar, other than Yao Wang, a mystic-class master who wasn't very good at fighting, there was only Uncle Zhu, the cripple. It's fine if I don't do anything stupid. You burned the orphanage, right? Lin Yi asked.
Me?
How is that possible? My building has been burned down. How can I be the one who burned it? I'm also looking for the arsonist. Zhao Qibing denied flatly. He thought that Lin Yi really was here for the orphanage. Why did this guy like to stick his nose into other people's business? They didn't earn much money from the reconstruction of the slums, and the compensation they gave to the residents was the highest standard. He wanted to earn some money from the orphanage, but this Lin Yi was sticking his nose into other people's business again. Oh, there's no need to look for him. I've found him for you. It's you, Lin Yi said. Me? Lin Yi, don't talk nonsense. Zhao Qibing knew that he wasn't the same as before, but he was still afraid of Lin Yi. If I say it's me, then it's me, Lin Yi said. Do you want me to break your leg before you admit it? Zhao Qibing was speechless. He didn't want to admit it, so he broke his leg to force him to admit it? Who would do something like that? But thinking back to Lin Yi's domineering style, he really might do it. Lin Yi's story had spread across the world. Lin Yi had destroyed the common house Yu, and Zhao Qibing didn't doubt that Lin Yi would break his leg. If Lin Yi dared to mess with the hidden house Yu, what was the hidden house Zhao to him? Is it me or not? I'll count to 3 if you don't admit it, then I'll break your leg. 2 last time, 3 this time, Lin Yi said impatiently. Then it's me who burned it. Zhao Qibing had no choice but to admit it. Lin Yi could even beat a drugged Yu Shuixing to death, so even if Boss Zhu was here, he wouldn't be able to do anything to Lin Yi. Unless Elder Bai made a move himself, he wouldn't be able to hurt Lin Yi at all. But with the Hidden House Association, Elder Bai couldn't walk around the common world. A wise man knows when to retreat, and Zhao Qibing could only admit it, even though he didn't know what Lin Yi was planning. Since you've admitted it, then it's easy. Pay up, Lin Yi said. You burned down an orphanage. You have to pay at least 30 to 50 million, right? Plus the money you owe me last time. Give me 200 million. Chapter 1720. Qibing finally understood why Lin Yi was here. He was here to ask for money. But where did Qibing have the money? He still owed Bloodstained Yellow Springs sect 300 million, and now Lin Yi was here to ask for 200 million? How was he supposed to live? Even if Qibing sold everything he had, he wouldn't be able to pay this amount of money. Are you going to give it to me or not? Lin Yi frowned. He was getting impatient. I can give it to you, but I really don't have that much money right now. Look at my building. Everything was burned down, and my real estate company hasn't even made any money yet. I'm already losing money, and I've already rebuilt 3 buildings. Qibing said bitterly. Then can I owe it to you first? Owe it to you? How long do you owe? Lin Yi saw that Qibing really didn't have any money, so he didn't force him. 2 years. Within 2 years, I'll definitely pay you back. I can write an IOU, Qibing said. He wanted to get rid of Lin Yi first. Who knows, he might be able to become an Earth-class master in 2 years. By then, he wouldn't have to be afraid of Lin Yi anymore. Oh, then write it. Lin Yi didn't expect Qibing to give him any money. This guy was so poor that his building was destroyed 3 times. He was probably broke as well. Extorting a few million from him wouldn't be enough for him to do anything. Qibing had no choice but to write an IOU to Lin Yi. But Lin Yi frowned after looking at the IOU. You owe me for 2 years, and you don't even have any interest? I have a few million in the bank, right? Interest? Can I not? Qibing didn't want to give him the money at all, but he was instinctively afraid of Lin Yi. He was afraid that when Lin Yi became stronger, he would have to pay him back. It's fine if you don't want it. Lin Yi put the IOU in his pocket and said, Then I'll collect some interest now.
Now?
Qibing was quite happy when he heard the first half of Lin Yi's sentence, but when he heard the second half, He almost fell to the ground. But before Qibing could sit down, two crisp sounds were heard, and he fell onto the ground, because his leg was broken by Lin Yi again. Ouch! Qibing groaned in pain, but he was a practitioner now, so he could still hold it in. He endured the pain in his leg, sweating profusely. You didn't keep your word. Didn't you say you'd stop fighting if I paid you back? Didn't I leave you a leg? Could it be that you want to break your third leg as well? As Lin Yi spoke, he raised his leg and pretended to step down. Qibing shook his head. No, I don't want to. He admitted that he was unlucky. Now that he met Lin Yi, he really couldn't do anything. But he swore in his heart that one day, he would torture Lin Yi to death. He wanted to break every bone in Lin Yi's body and let him have a taste of his pain. I'll burn this bar down for you. If you dare to put it out, I'll burn it down in the middle of the night. If you can't escape, then don't blame me for not reminding you. As Lin Yi spoke, a flame appeared in his hand. He casually threw it on the wooden decorations of the bar, and it lit up in flames. Lin Yi, on the other hand, turned and walked out of the bar. After Lin Yi left, Su Jiaoneng, who was hiding at the side, ran over. Master Bing, what do we do now? Should we call the police and put out the fire? Put out my ass, let it burn. Didn't you hear what Lin Yi said? If I put out the fire, what if he comes back in the middle of the night? Qibing raged. Why aren't you carrying me out? Ask everyone in the bar to leave. Do you want to burn me to death?
Yes.
Yes. Su Jiaoneng wiped the cold sweat on his forehead and hurriedly replied. In House Chu's villa, Yushu was excitedly telling Meng Yao and Tang Yun about what happened during the noble house meeting. That old bastard Shuixing thought that he could go on a killing spree just because he took the pill and became an Earth-class early phase. At that time, the atmosphere was really tense. All the families that were close to Shield Bro were in danger. My grandpa, Grandpa Wu, and Grandpa Song were all very worried. Yushu described the scene vividly, making Meng Yao and Tang Yun's hearts skip a beat. At that time, Shield Bro appeared, and in an instant, he showed his strength as an Earth class, making that old bastard Shuixing jump in fright. Everyone's jaw dropped as well, so Shield Bro was an Earth class as well. Yushu described in detail, making Tang Yun and Meng Yao feel as if the whole thing was happening right in front of their eyes. She took a sip of ice water and said, It's so hot. Why is it so hot? Is the air conditioner on? It's on, Meng Yao said bitterly. Tang Yun and I are freezing, and you're saying it's hot? Don't make so many exaggerated gestures when you're telling the story. Ugh, is that so? Yushu stuck out her tongue, giggling. Then it wouldn't be interesting. Let's continue. When we were talking about Shield Bro, that old bastard Shuixing didn't dare to go head-to-head with Shield Bro, so he went to attack my brother. He was about to hit my brother, and Shield Bro couldn't stop him in time. That was when Shield Bro shouted, Earth-class skill, Frenzy Fire Fist. That old bastard Shuixing jumped in fright and dodged immediately. But after waiting for a long time, he didn't see any skill, and only then did he realize that he was tricked. Shield Bro didn't use any skill at all, he was just tricking him. Ha! Meng Yao and Tang Yin were amused as well. They didn't expect Lin Yi to be this shameless. Why did it feel like Yushu style? And then that old bastard Shuixing got pissed off, saying that Shield Bro tricked him. I'm still so hot. I didn't even move. Why am I still so hot? Yushu said as she drank another mouthful of ice water. You're too excited, aren't you? Tang Yin said. Do you want me to get some ice cream? Sure, Yushu said. I want the super big ones, but I'm still so hot right now. These pajamas are too hot. I'll just take them off. With that, Yushu took off her pajamas, leaving only her bra on. Shu, what are we going to do when Lin Yi comes back like this? Meng Yao frowned. It's fine, I'll put them back on in a bit. But it doesn't matter if he sees it. He's seen it a couple of times already. Yushu said nonchalantly. Meng Yao didn't say anything more. Yushu was just like that, always feeling hot for no reason. She didn't even wear clothes at home. Chapter 1725, Shu is Sick, Part 2. Things had gotten better after Lin Yi's arrival, but it seemed that things were starting to get worse again. It's so hot. It's better to be naked. Yushu didn't wait for Mengyao to say anything before taking off her bra and pajamas, leaving only her underwear on. She started running around the room like a headless fly. It's so hot, I'm going to die from the heat. Mengyao didn't know what to say. There was a sea of white and 2 super large papayas in front of her. It was making her dizzy. Shu, the more you run around, the hotter you'll get. Calm down and wait for Yun-in to get you some ice cream. Oh, Yushu stopped, but it still seemed like she was still hot. Tang Yin came back at this time and was shocked to see Yushu naked. Luckily, the 3 of them had showered together before, so it wasn't too shocking. Shu, here's some ice cream. It's not very good for you to be like this. Give it to me. Give it to me. Yushu took the ice cream from Tang Yin, but the moment her hand touched the ice cream melted into a puddle of liquid, and in the blink of an eye, it flowed all over the floor.
Ah,
this ice cream. Tang Yin thought that the fridge was broken, but she looked at the other 2 ice creams in her hands. Yushu's ice cream was the only one that melted. Mengyao, on the other hand, realized that something was wrong as well. She reached out to touch Yushu, only to have the latter jump in fright as she pulled her hand back with a yelp. Why is it so hot? Shu, Yao, I feel like I'm getting cooked. What should I do? What should I do? Yushu's fair skin was starting to turn an unnatural shade of red. It was the color of a cooked crab. What's going on? Tang Yin was a little confused. Yao, why don't you go online and check what's going on? Okay. Mengyao nodded quickly and picked up the tablet beside her to check Shu's symptoms. Lin Yi was looking for trouble with Lin Yi, so Mengyao didn't want to disturb Lin Yi by calling him. Did you find it? Tang Yin asked. I found it, but the internet says that Shu's symptoms are due to an aphrodisiac? Mengyao looked at the screen with a weird expression. It says that after a girl is drugged, her body will heat up and she will take off her clothes. Ugh. Tang Yin looked at the explanation on the screen and looked at Shu. Why didn't it seem like it? She blushed and said embarrassedly, That's not right. I was drugged with that drug once, but after that, not only did I heat up, and I really want to do that. That's right. Shu looks pretty normal. She doesn't look like she's been drugged. Plus, she came back with Lin Yi. There's no way anyone would have had the chance to do that. It can't be Lin Yi. Mengyao nodded as she tossed the laptop aside. Whatever, let's not look into it anymore. Yeah, Shield Bro doesn't even need to drug Shu. It's so hot. I just feel hot. Nothing else. Yushu nodded. Why don't you try taking a cold shower? Tang Yin was sweating after hearing Yushu's words. She quickly suggested. Okay. Yao, Yun, help me turn on the water. I feel like I'm burning up. It's so uncomfortable. Yushu moaned in pain. Mengyao and Tang Yin quickly ran to the bathroom to put cold water in Yushu's bathtub. Tang Yin was confused. What's wrong with Shu? Was she like this before too? I don't know. She used to say it was hot all the time, taking off all her clothes in the villa in the middle of winter. I didn't pay much attention to it before, because I thought she liked not wearing clothes, but it's never been this serious before. Mengyao was panicking as well. She looked at the running water and wanted it to be bigger. Maybe we should give Lin Yi a call? Let him take a look at Shu? Tang Yin didn't know what to do. Yushu couldn't have matured so quickly, could she? How can we call Lin Yi when Shu's like this? Mengyao smiled bitterly. She's hiding her illness? Tang Yin smiled bitterly as well. Shu doesn't care about it, and neither do I. We can't just carry her to the hospital like this, right? If there's no other way, we can only call Lin Yi back. Mengyao nodded helplessly. Tang Yin was right. If she and Shu didn't care, why should she be nervous? Besides, it was better to let Lin Yi see than to let others see, right? Plus, it wasn't the first time Shu had been seen. She was always saying that she wanted to be Lin Yi's mistress, so it wasn't a big deal to have a look. After the cold water was ready, Yushu ran in impatiently, took off her underwear, and jumped into the bathtub. Not only did the cold water fail to cool her down, it even started boiling and bubbling. It was as if Yushu was being cooked. Yushu jumped out of the bathtub with a whoosh and screamed. It's hot, it's hot. Shoo, you're hotter than boiling water. You're boiling the water. Mengyao shook her head as she picked up her phone. I'll call Lin E. It looks like you're sick. Lin E received Mengyao call as soon as he left the floating cloud bar. Miss? What's wrong? What's wrong? Lin E was just about to head home when Mengyao call came in unexpectedly. Mengyao wasn't monitoring Lin E like she used to these days, and she didn't ask him to come home at a certain time either. What, miss? I'm not joking with you. Something happened at home, Shu. Something happened. Can you come back and take a look? Mengyao was a little hesitant when she said the words, but the best way to solve a problem like this was to find Lin E. No one else would do.
Shu?
Something happened? Lin E paused. He just sent Shu home not long ago, and she was fine. What happened? Yeah, you'll know when you come back. I don't know how to explain it. Her whole body was hot. Then she took off all her clothes, like a cooked lobster.
Mengyao said.
Hot all over? Took off all her clothes? Lin E paused. Then wait for me to go back and take a look. Lin Yi's words were a little ambiguous. Going back and taking a look, was it to see Shu naked or her illness? Target equals _blank. Chapter 17:21. Chapter 17:26. Shu is sick. Part 2. Chapter 17:26. Shu is sick. Part 2. Mengyao was a little embarrassed, but when Lin E hung up the phone, she realized that she was thinking too much. Lin E sped up the car and rushed back to the villa. Lin E opened the door himself, and Mengyao and Tang Yin were standing at the bathroom door, each holding a water gun to spray Yushu's body to lower her temperature. The flowing water was better, although it would boil instantly. It absorbed most of Yushu's body temperature. Lin E went upstairs and heard the sound of water in the bathroom. He hesitated and asked at the door, Can I go in? Lin E, you are back. Tang Yin quickly opened the door. Hurry up and check on Shu. She can't take it anymore. Lin E saw the scene in the bathroom and was shocked. Tang Yin and Mengyao were spraying water on Shu's body, but when the water touched Shu's body, it seemed to boil instantly, making a sizzling sound and emitting steam. It was like she was in a sauna, but the steam was made by Shu herself. What happened to her? When Lin E sent Shu back, she was still fine, but after going out for a walk, she became like this. Lin E didn't have time to admire Shu's body because her whole body had turned red. We're not sure. She told us about your experience at the Noble House meeting, and then she said it was hot, so she took off her clothes, and then it got hotter and hotter. Mengyao quickly explained what happened. I did. Lin E braved the water gun and walked to Shu's side. Just when he put his hand on her wrist to feel her pulse, Lin E subconsciously pulled his hand away, and Lin E gritted his teeth. Lin E glanced at his hand. It was covered in blisters. The temperature was at least 100 degrees Celsius, but what puzzled Lin E was that Shu didn't seem to be burned. Although her body was red, it didn't cause any big problems. If it was an ordinary person, they would have been burnt to death. Lin E activated the art of dragon mastery and quickly healed his burn wounds. Then, he used his chi to protect his hand and went to feel Shu's pulse. Shield bro. I'm so hot. Can you carry me to the ice palace to keep me company? I'm dying. Yushu said, panting. Lin E did not reply. Instead, he frowned deeply. Inside Yushu's body, Lin E didn't find anything wrong with it. It was like a normal person, but there was an inexplicable heat. You didn't find anything wrong with you? Shu doesn't seem to be sick? Lin E shook his head and said, What's going on? It's a little similar to Xiao's. Xiao's body is extremely cold, and yours is extremely hot, but there are no other symptoms? Shu isn't sick? Mengyao is shocked. Then you guys maintain it for a while. I'll call my old man and ask him if he has seen something like this. Lin E had no choice but to ask old Lin for help. Lin E quickly went out of the bathroom. In the bathroom, Lin E felt unbearably hot, and he was covered in water as if he had just taken a sauna. Lin E took out his phone and wanted to call old Lin, but his phone was soaked in water. He couldn't use it at all. Lin Yi quickly ran downstairs and used the landline in the living room to call old Lin. "Yi, you're calling me again so soon?" Old Lin picked up the phone. It was a little strange. Lin Yi had called him about the orphanage, and not long after, the second call came. "Old man, I need to ask you something. If a person's whole body is hot, but there are no other symptoms after a check, what's going on?" Lin Yi asked urgently. "Oh, what do you mean by a whole body is hot, but there are no other symptoms after a check? Explain it in detail." Old Lin didn't quite understand Lin Yi's question. "It's like this." Lin Yi explained Yushu's situation to old Lin in detail. "That's how it is. I feel like I'm at my wit's end right now. Do you have any ideas? Why do you think this situation is similar to the legendary fire poison?" Old Lin was stunned. "Fire poison? No way. Xiao Xiao has the cold poison and now there's the fire poison?" Lin Yi was also stunned. "Xiao Xiao doesn't have the cold poison. It's just similar to the cold poison, but her situation is really hard to say." Old Lin shook his head and said, "I can't say for sure right now. Why don't you bring her to me?" "Bring her? Then she can't die, right?" Lin Yi asked with a bitter smile. "According to what you said, if she hasn't been burned to death after so long, then she won't die." Old Lin said, "There shouldn't be a problem." "Okay. If there's no other way, I'll bring her back." Lin Yi smiled bitterly. At the same time, in the bathroom upstairs, Yushu suddenly waved her hand at Meng Yao and Tang Yun. "Right, I remember. I've had this problem since I was young. In the second drawer of the bedside table in my bedroom, there's a small bottle with special medicine in it. Just bring it to me." Okay." Meng Yao heard Yushu's words and quickly replied. She threw down the water gun and quickly ran back to the room. As expected, she found a delicate small bottle in the drawer of the bedside table. She picked it up and quickly ran back to the bathroom. "Shu, is this it? And hurry up and take the pill out for me." Yushu looked at it, nodded, and said hurriedly, "Okay." Meng Yao nodded and opened the small bottle. There was a pill inside. "Is this it? Why does it feel like it was licked by someone? Did the sugar on the outside melt?" "Oh, maybe it was sprayed by Yun Yun's water gun. Give it to me." Yushu opened her mouth. Meng Yao remembered that this was the life-saving pill Yushu was waiting for. She didn't dare to ask any more and quickly threw the pill into Yushu's mouth. Yushu swallowed the pill, and after a while, she suddenly shivered and shouted, "Wow, it's so cold. Turn off the water valve. I'm freezing to death."
"Ah."
Tang Yin paused, but saw that Yushu's skin color had returned to normal. She quickly turned off the water valve and said, "You're okay?" Yes, I'm freezing to death. I need a towel to wipe myself." Yushu nodded. "I'm freezing to death. I'm freezing to death." Hashtag, you can see your. Chapter 17:22. Treating a guest, Meng Yao didn't know whether to laugh or cry as she watched Yushu walking around in circles. She was the complete opposite of what she was doing before. Lin Yi had come up the stairs as well. He was just about to go into the washroom to check on Yushu when he saw a white body running out. Lin Yi, an Earth-class early phase, accidentally bumped into the body. So comfortable. That was Lin Yi's first feeling. The second feeling was that his body felt cold, as if someone was glaring at him. Lin Yi turned around and saw Tang Yun smiling. Lin Yi paused and let go of Shu awkwardly. "Huh? Shu, how come you're fine?" "Miracle Dr. Lin, you're so powerful, and you still can't see that Shu's skin color is normal? Even an Earth-class master couldn't hide from it. What would you do if it was an enemy?" Tang Yun was a little jealous. If it was under other circumstances, she wouldn't know, but Lin Yi was flirting with Shu in front of her. This made her unhappy.
Ugh.
Lin Yi didn't think that his subconscious action was seen through by Tang Yun. To be honest, Lin Yi didn't think too much about it. He just couldn't resist the temptation and made a small mistake. Tang Yun caught him red-handed, which made him embarrassed. "I was too anxious and didn't pay attention." Meng Yao naturally understood and covered her mouth to hide her laughter. So Tang Yun still had a little temper. It had been hard on her recently. She had been tolerating Lin Yi and Shu, and today, she finally exploded under Lin Yi's evil actions. All right, it's fine now. Tang Yin was just pointing it out. If she didn't let it go, not only would it embarrass Lin Yi, but it would also make Meng Yao look down on her. So Tang Yin only warned Lin Yi. Shu ran to the bedroom to wipe her body. Lin Yi laughed dryly and said, How did she recover? I'm not too sure, but Shu said that it's an old problem of hers. She suddenly remembered that she had a special medicine and asked me to get it for her. She'll be fine after taking it, Meng Yao explained. Special medicine? What special medicine? Lin Yi asked. This is it. Meng Yao handed the bottle to Lin Yi. Is there more in here? That's all? Lin Yi looked at the bottle in his hand. The craftsmanship was extremely exquisite, but it was empty. There were no pills inside. Nope, just one pill. Meng Yao said. I see. Lin Yi put the bottle under his nose and took a sniff. There wasn't anything out of the ordinary, only the scent of sugar coating. It seemed that the pill was covered in sugar, and nothing else could be detected from the inside of the bottle. Yeah, we'll have to ask Shu later. We have a lot of questions too, Meng Yao shrugged. When Yushu came out of the bedroom again, she was already in her pajamas. Her face was back to normal. Shu, are you alright? Meng Yao asked with lingering fear. Yeah, I'm fine. Yushu shook her head and smiled. Hee, I made you guys worry. Shu, what's going on? I heard from Yao Yao that it's an old problem. Lin Yi looked at Shu's complexion. She was indeed back to normal. She was like a different person from before. Yeah, it's an old problem. It acted up when I was young, but it never acted up again after I grew up. Yushu nodded. I almost forgot. There's a special medicine I brought from home. I didn't think it'd take so many years to use. Special medicine? Did you see a doctor when you were young? Lin Yi asked as he fiddled with the bottle in his hand. Yeah, I did. It's fine, Yushu said casually. The doctor said that it'll be fine for a long time after I eat it. What do you do if it happens again? Lin Yi asked. Do you have more of this medicine? Let me study it. I'll see if I can find the formula. Oh, it's at home. I'll go get it when I'm free next time, Yushu said. All right. Lin Yi calmed down after hearing Yushu's words. All right, I'm fine now. To celebrate, let's go out for a big meal tonight? Yushu suggested. She didn't want to talk about it anymore. Sure, what do you want? Lin Yi asked with a smile. Let's go eat steak? I'm craving steak, Yushu said. Sure, I'll make a call and book a table at a Western restaurant. Meng Yao nodded. Meng Yao was just about to make the call when her phone rang. Daddy? Why are you calling me at this hour? Meng Yao found it odd that the call was from Pengzhan. He usually called Meng Yao in the morning to let her know that he was safe. He rarely called in the afternoon. Yao Yao, are you free tonight? Want to go out for dinner?
Pengzhan said.
Tonight? Dinner? Only you? Meng Yao blinked, not understanding why her father would want to go out for dinner tonight. It wasn't a weekend, nor was it a holiday. She didn't know why it was so sudden. It's your uncle and Mingyue and Jiangwen, Pengzhan sighed. They're old neighbors, and they came back to Songshan all of a sudden. They wanted to arrange a dinner for us. I couldn't reject them, so I agreed. Pengzhan actually liked Jiangwen quite a bit at first, but after Housen moved away, the two families only worked together in business. Today, Pengzhan didn't know what to do with Jiangwen's sudden visit, but he couldn't reject them because of his pride. After all, the two families had always been in business with each other, and they were old neighbors. Pengzhan couldn't reject them. Is that so? Meng Yao frowned. Shu wants to eat steak. Where are they treating us? We haven't confirmed the place yet. I'll let them know if you agree, Pengzhan said. We don't know if you're free today, so we're not sure, but steak is fine. I'll tell them to go to a Western restaurant. All right, but bring Lin Yi and Tang Yun. Is that okay? Meng Yao asked. Of course. Pengzhan smiled. It's just a family dinner. All right, I'll wait for your call, Daddy. Meng Yao replied. Yushu hung up the phone. Yao Yao, someone's treating us? #target=_blank. Chapter 17:23. Chapter 17:28. Sending flowers. It's Jiangwen and Uncle N. Meng Yao frowned. Dad couldn't reject them. They're our old neighbors, so. Jiangwen? house and wants to treat you to a meal after being humiliated in the noble house meeting? They're not trying to get close to Shield Bro, are they? Yushu had seen House and leave the noble house meeting, so she found it strange that House and was treating them to a meal all of a sudden. I'm not sure about that. Dad said that they're just business partners and old friends. They didn't mention anything else. Mengyao shook her head. Doesn't matter. Let's go check it out tonight. Lin Yi said. If it's just a meal, then we'll eat. As for other things, we'll see. Soon, Pengzhan called again, confirming the restaurant. It was a comprehensive buffet restaurant with different cuisines from different countries. Of course, the price wasn't cheap. At 5 at night, Lin Yi drove Mengyao, Yushu, and Tang Yun to the restaurant they agreed on. They parked the car, and the four entered the restaurant. And Mingyue, Zhang Wen, and Pengzhan were already there, waiting at the resting area on the first floor. Pengzhan waved his hand when he saw Lin Yi and the others. Yao Yao, you've gotten prettier in a few days. Zhang Wen smiled as he took out a bouquet of flowers from somewhere and handed it to Mengyao. Really? I haven't been resting well these past few days, and I don't look well. You should get a pair of glasses. Mengyao didn't care at all for Zhang Wen's praises, nor did she care about the flowers. Zhang Wen was a little awkward. He didn't know why Mengyao didn't like him. Weren't they getting along well when they were kids? Why did they become so distant after they grew up? He didn't seem to understand Mengyao at all. In fact, if he looked at it from another angle, he didn't understand Mengyao, but Mengyao didn't understand him either. How could Mengyao know what he was doing in the dark? Ha, Yao Yao, you really know how to joke around. But even if you don't look well, you're still pretty. Zhang Wen smiled as he raised the flowers in his hand. Fresh flowers with a beauty. For you. Give it to Lin Yi. Mengyao didn't want to accept the flowers. Ah. Zhang Wen paused. He wasn't gay, so why would he give the flowers to Lin Yi? But before he could react, the flower in Zhang Wen's hand was already in Lin Yi's. Lin Yi divided the flowers into 3 portions and gave them to Tang Yun, Mengyao, and Yushu. For you guys. Thank you. Mengyao happily accepted the flowers from Lin Yi, and Tang Yun and Yushu happily accepted them as well. Zhang Wen gritted his teeth in anger, but there was nothing he could do. Let's go. I heard that Shu wants to eat steak, so I booked this buffet restaurant. The steak here is very authentic, and there are many snacks from all over the world. When they entered the restaurant, Zhang Wen swiped his card. There was a total of 7 people eating, and it cost more than 20,000 yuan. The cost here wasn't low, and it wasn't lower than those high-class hotels. And that didn't include the drinks. If they wanted red wine, they would have to pay separately. The restaurant was very big, and there weren't many customers. The environment was very elegant, and there were small booths and private rooms. There was even a bar counter for customers to choose from. Old friend, we've been doing business together for a long time, but it's been a long time since we sat down and drank together like this. And Mingyue smiled. Let's sit at a table, and let the kids sit at another table. We won't disturb each other. House N's actions this time surprised Lin Yi. The two didn't seem to have any awkwardness like they did at the Noble House meeting. It was as if the Noble House title didn't mean anything to House N, and they really did treat Pengzhan this time to reminisce about the past. After all, the father and son didn't have the slightest intention of getting on Lin Yi's good side. This made Lin Yi sigh in relief, but at the same time, he was confused. Lin Yi was afraid that Mingyue would ask Pengzhan for them to join the practitioners' union. If Pengzhan really did ask, Lin Yi wouldn't be able to reject him. But now that worry was gone. But the two's actions made Lin Yi feel strange. Could it be that Mingyue and Zhang Wen really didn't care about the noble house title? Or did they have something else to rely on? As he was thinking, Zhang Wen smiled at everyone. Let's sit here. Don't disturb the elders. With that, Zhang Wen pointed at a rather large open booth, not too far away. This booth was for 6 people, meaning that only 3 people could sit in a row. Zhang Wen's arrangement meant that he wanted to sit next to Mengyao. After all, Lin Yi and Tang Yun were a couple, and they couldn't be separated. Between Mengyao and Yushu, one had to sit next to him. But as far as he was concerned, Yushu would either sit next to Lin Yi or Mengyao. There was no way she would sit alone next to him. Meng Yao, naturally, understood what Jiang Wen was thinking. But in this restaurant, it was either a 4- or 6-person table. If there were more people, they would have to go to a small room. Peng Zhan and Mingyue weren't with them, so it wasn't appropriate for them to go to a private room. Hence, a 6-person booth was the best choice. But when they got close to the booth, Meng Yao said, "We girls can sit on one side. You guys can sit on the other side?" Lin Yi didn't mind, but Jiang Wen was pissed. It took him so much effort to come up with such a good idea, and it was ruined just like that. But he couldn't say no right now. It'd look like he had bad intentions if he did. Sure, it doesn't matter where we sit. The most important thing is to eat. The food here is good, and there are snacks from all over the world. They're all very authentic. I've been here once, so let me be your guide, Jiang Wen said as he picked up his plate like a gentleman. Jiang Wen, your house doesn't seem to be affected? Lin Yi couldn't help but ask. Jiang Wen gave him a very strange feeling. House Kong and whatnot wanted to join the ranks of the noble houses, but Housen didn't seem to have that intention at all. Haha, Lin Yi, that's a different thing. We might have some conflicts and misunderstandings, but I'm the host right now. I'm treating Yao Yao's family to a meal. Give me some face, and let's not talk about this for now, Jiang Wen said with a carefree smile. #target=_blank. Chapter 1724. You too. But Jiang Wen moved closer to Lin Yi and lowered his voice. In fact, noble houses and whatnot don't really have much use for us. Our business is half black and half white, and keeping a low profile is the right thing to do. Conflict? Misunderstanding? I almost lost my kidney? Lin Yi said expressionlessly as he looked at Jiang Wen. I'm a victim too, I lost a kidney too. Jiang Wen smiled bitterly. You can't blame me. Lin Yi smiled faintly and didn't say anything else. Everyone knew what was going on, but Lin Yi had offended too many powers, and he didn't want to go against Jiang Wen right now. Otherwise, Lin Yi wouldn't have come to this dinner. Jiang Wen's firewolves were something that even Faubert didn't want to talk about. Evidently, they had a very strong background. Lin Yi would be an idiot to mess with a super gang like that. The group brought their plates to the buffet area. Since it was a buffet, they could choose how much they wanted to eat and what they wanted to eat. Jiang Wen started introducing the food along the way. This is the Korean cuisine area. Yao Yao, what do you want to eat? I'll get it for you. With that, Jiang Wen picked up a few pieces of Korean barbecued meat and put it on Meng Yao's plate. I don't want it, it's too oily. Meng Yao quickly moved her plate to the side, making Jiang Wen feel a little awkward. But since he'd already picked it up, he couldn't just put it back. But Jiang Wen didn't give up. He took 2 steps forward. There's Korean codfish here, it's not bad. I don't want it, it's too spicy. Meng Yao shook her head. Jiang Wen put the codfish back on his plate. This beef is not bad, do you want to try it? Jiang Wen didn't want to give up. I don't want it. Meng Yao didn't want to explain. Jiang Wen put the beef tenderloin back on his plate. And so, Jiang Wen's plates piled up into a small mountain on the way, and he didn't find anything that suited Meng Yao's taste. He had no choice but to pass the plate back to the waiter and get a new plate. What Jiang Wen didn't recommend, on the other hand, was something Meng Yao randomly placed on her plate, making Jiang Wen regret his decision. It seemed that Meng Yao's taste was quite unique. After a moment of regret, Jiang Wen decided that he'd ask Meng Yao once every time it was a dish, but she'd always reject him. More and more dishes piled up on his plate, filling up 3 to 4 plates in one go. He'd asked the waiter to send them back a couple of times, but the waiter was still filling them up. But later on, Jiang Wen learned his lesson. He'd ask first, and if Meng Yao didn't want it, he wouldn't take it. But if Meng Yao wanted to eat it, she'd take it herself. Jiang Wen didn't even need to do anything. Jiang Wen didn't know what to do, so he continued asking. But Meng Yao stopped eating again. But Jiang Wen was comforted by the fact that she was helping him a little, or he'd have to change a couple more plates. This was the first time he felt that Yushu was such a good friend. After a turn, they came to the dessert area, and Jiang Wen's eyes lit up. He found something that could improve his relationship with Meng Yao. Jiang Wen quickly ran to a dessert stall and picked up a dessert, handing it to Meng Yao. Yao Yao, this is one of the specialties here. It's a very popular snack on the internet. What's this? Meng Yao frowned. It was quite scary. The thing in Jiang Wen's hand looked like a body part. It's called condor shao. Haha, it's very famous. Why don't you try it? Jiang Wen explained evilly. Haha, doesn't it look like a body part? I don't want it. Take it away. Meng Yao glared at Jiang Wen. She didn't know what this guy was doing. What was he doing with this? Wasn't he just ruining her appetite? Jiang Wen didn't think that he'd make things worse. Wasn't this Meng Yao a little too innocent? The last time Jiang Wen came, he'd come with Tai Zhao and some other girls, and those girls had been fighting over the food, laughing and joking with Tai Zhao and Jiang Wen. Why was it that the effect was completely different now that it was someone else? Shu, do you want it? Jiang Wen asked awkwardly. Oh, I'll try it. Yushu thought that this thing was quite fun, but she didn't know if it tasted good. Jiang Wen passed the condor shao to Shu as if a heavy burden had been lifted off his shoulders. Shu didn't hold back and took a bite. Meng Yao felt her face blushing. This Shu really dared to eat anything. Is it good? Jiang Wen asked. He'd wanted to ask Meng Yao that question so that the two of them could flirt a bit more, but Yushu had already eaten him up. Jiang Wen wasn't interested anymore, so he just asked a question symbolically. It's alright, but it's not as good as Shield Bros, Yushu said.
Ah?
Jiang Wen paused, and Lin Yi almost tripped over as well. Tang Yun, on the other hand, looked at Lin Yi suspiciously. Shu, you've eaten Lin Yi's food before? Meng Yao felt that this was getting out of hand. How could the insensitive Yushu say something like that in front of everyone? I have. Yushu nodded with a straight face. Ahem. Lin Yi jumped as he looked at Meng Yao and Tang Yun, who were looking at him suspiciously. He quickly said, Shu, when did you eat? When I was at home, Yushu said. At home? Meng Yao glared at Lin Yi before turning to Shu with a serious tone. Shu, you need to make it clear. When did you eat at home? Where was I at that time? What was I doing? Meng Yao was thinking about it as well. She and Shu were together almost every day, and sometimes Tang Yin was there too. She and Lin Yi didn't have the chance to do anything. Could it be that he hid it from her at night? A few days ago, you were at home too. You ate it too, Yushu said.
Huh? Me?
Meng Yao almost dropped the plate in her hand. What kind of joke was this Shu playing at? When did she eat it? This time, Tang Yin didn't think that it was possible. If Shu and Lin Yi had something going on, she would believe it a little. After all, Shu was a bold person, and she had a crush on Lin Yi. Naturally, she would do anything. Target equals _blank. Chapter 17:25. But Meng Yao was a person with strong principles. She wouldn't go along with Yushu, would she? Yeah, you ate it too. Yushu nodded. What did I eat? What did I eat? Meng Yao raged. Shu, what are you talking about? I'm not talking about anything. Shield Bro made us some snacks last time, and it was much better than the ones here. Didn't you eat a lot too? Yushu said innocently.
Ah.
Meng Yao blinked. She didn't know if she should laugh or cry. Was she thinking too much, or was Shu doing it on purpose?
She blushed.
She almost misunderstood Lin Yi. Oh, I know, Yao Yao, you're thinking the wrong thing. You must be thinking that it's the same thing you and Shield Bro did in the cave. Yushu blinked. What did I do in the cave? I was just helping him suck out the poison. Meng Yao quickly explained, afraid that Tang Yun would misunderstand. Jiang Wen was a bit troubled. He didn't get to flirt with Meng Yao, but Lin Yi got to flirt with these people instead. He should have just burned the bird and eaten it. That would have saved him so much trouble. When did you cook it? Why didn't I eat it? Tang Yun kicked Lin Yi lightly. Holy Haw. Lin Yi smiled bitterly at Tang Yun. Next time, I'll cook it for you alone. I'm not eating it. Tang Yun felt that Lin Yi's words were a bit ambiguous. Huh. Lin Yi smiled. I said the fire, not the bird. I won't eat anything, Tang Yun said. All right, let's go have a look. There seems to be steak that Shu likes. Jiang Wen made 5 to 6 plates of food for himself. He didn't have the mood to ask Meng Yao about it anymore. Everyone picked up the food and went back to their seats. Yushu started digging in while Meng Yao and Tang Yun ate like a gentleman. Lin Yi was the same as Yushu, sitting there and eating. Lin Yi didn't care about other people's eyes at all. Tang Yun and Meng Yao smiled bitterly as they watched Yushu and Lin Yi eating at each other's throats. These two were really a couple. They didn't care what other people thought of them, no matter where they went. Shield bro, this is delicious. It's not as good as your cooking, but it's not bad. Yushu gave Lin Yi a piece of grilled steak. Lin Yi laughed and stuffed it into his mouth. Takitra Jiangwen was a little disdainful, but in his heart, he was still a little wary of Lin Yi. He wanted to mock him, but he didn't dare. House N's backing was much stronger than Lin Yi's. Even those hidden noble houses were nothing in front of the Firewolves. But the relationship between House N and the Firewolves was only a guess. Most people thought that House N was just a normal businessman, and they were in between the black and the white. Jiang Wen couldn't just bring up the Firewolves, so he could only bear with Lin Yi for now. Remembering the purpose of this meal, Jiang Wen turned around with a smile and looked at Meng Yao. Yao Yao, why do I feel like we've become so distant? Although some of my actions before might have displeased you, I actually like you. I want to pursue you. You didn't dislike me when I tried to please you before, right? It's different when we were young. Meng Yao looked at Jiang Wen and sighed. Jiang Wen bro, we're all grown up now. We're mature, and we should think more rationally. I've said it before, I've always treated you like a big brother. What you're doing won't end well. There's a saying, sincerity can open metal and stone. I believe that through my hard work, I'll be able to change your impression of me. Jiang Wen said. If what I did before made you uncomfortable, then I'll apologize. I'm sorry. It's fine. Meng Yao didn't say anything else after hearing what Jiang Wen said. Haha, and Lin Yi, I might have been targeting you before. I know now that you and Yao Yao have nothing to do with each other. I'll still need your help in the future. Jiang Wen said. Oh, that's not a problem, but you have to pay me. I'm helping you with the information. I can't just do it for free, can I? Lin Yi agreed quickly. Of course, of course. Jiang Wen laughed. He thought that Lin Yi wasn't afraid of lowering his image in Meng Yao's heart, but this only confirmed his suspicions that Lin Yi and Meng Yao had nothing to do with each other. Jiang Wen was a little embarrassed and angry about the Condor fire, but after thinking about it, he realized that she might have something going on with Lin Yi, but Meng Yao definitely didn't. This made things easier. He liked Meng Yao, and he wouldn't take Yushu even if she gave it to him for free. Oh, then give me 3 to 5 million first. Lin Yi said. You know my account number. 3 to 5 million? Jiang Wen paused. This Lin Yi was too much, wasn't he? He was just brushing him off casually, and he was really asking for money? Besides, what did he think he was doing? 3 to 5 million? No way. Jiang Wen bro, do you think 3 to 5 million is too much? Yao Yao is a miss from a rich family, and if you're stingy and marry her in the future, she'll have to suffer. You can't be that poor, can you? Yushu knew that Lin Yi was asking for money for the orphanage, so naturally, she cooperated. She and Meng Yao had already donated all their pocket money to the orphanage, so she couldn't help Lin Yi much. Naturally, she would help Lin Yi trick Jiang Wen. No, I mean, it's too little, Jiang Wen thought to himself. Fuck, I've earned a lot of money recently, but I've also given a lot to the Firewolves. 3 to 5 million wasn't a small amount, and the problem was, this wasn't a problem that could be solved with just 3 to 5 million. Jiang Wen could only put on a sad face. Don't say 3 to 5 million, just 5 million. Isn't 5 million still 3 to 5 million?
Isn't that a lot?
Yushu asked. Jiang Wen's heart was filled with hatred. Fuck you, I'll let you be happy for now. Once I'm done with that thing, not only will House Chu's wealth be mine, but Meng Yao will be mine too. But on the surface, he smiled. Ha, you're right. 8 million it is then. That's more like it. Yushu nodded. When are you giving it to me? I'll make a call to transfer the money now. Haha, I'm a man of my words. This is just a small amount. Jiang Wen laughed. Jiang Wen was afraid that Yushu would say something else, so he quickly made the call. At the same time, Lin Yi received the message that the money had been transferred. Target equals _ blank. Chapter 17:26. But Meng Yao said coldly after the transfer was done, "You black sheep, spending so much money just to pick up girls? Or to scout for information? Whoever marries you will be pissed to death."
What?
Jiang Wen paused, realizing that Yu Shu and Meng Yao were messing with him. Maybe Meng Yao didn't mean to mess with him, but she just happened to be helping Yu Shu and Lin Yi. Holy Hall, however, Meng Yao's actions made Jiang Wen very angry. He swore in his heart that he would get his hands on Meng Yao no matter what. He had to make sure that she would be on his side. Lin Yi and Yu Shu, on the other hand, ate quite a bit. Tang Yun and Meng Yao, on the other hand, only tasted a little. Jiang Wen, on the other hand, didn't eat much at all. Lin Yi and Yu Shu had already made him lose his appetite. Seeing that his father was almost done, he made a hand gesture to Jiang Wen, and the group prepared to leave. But just as they were about to leave, a waiter came over and said politely, "Sir, you haven't finished your food yet." "I can't, can I not?" Jiang Wen frowned. "Holy Hall, but you have too much left. This is a waste, a shameful act." The waiter explained, "How much?" "I'll pay you." Jiang Wen waved his hand impatiently. He would have lost his temper long ago if Meng Yao wasn't here. "Sir, it's not a matter of money. You can leave if you don't want to finish your meal, but our cameras have already recorded your image. You will be displayed on the display board in the restaurant for a week as the subject of the shameful list." The waiter explained. Fuck. Jiang Wen couldn't take it anymore. "I'm spending money to eat. Why would I be on the shameful list?" "Sir, this is a rule of the shop. It's a warning and punishment to customers who waste their food. We wouldn't pursue it if you only had a little left, but you have 6 plates of food left, and you haven't even finished? That's a bit too much." The waiter said politely. Jiang Wen was speechless. "Brother Jiang Wen, she's right. We need to be thrifty and not extravagant. If you're so wasteful, who would want to marry you in the future?" Yao Yao sis is a thrifty person. Yu Shu chimed in. I'll eat it before I leave, okay?" Jiang Wen was furious, but he could only sit back down. "You guys leave first. I'll sit here and eat slowly. That's for the best." The waiter nodded with a smile. And so, Lin Yi left with Meng Yao, Yu Shu, and Tang Yun. And Ming Yue, on the other hand, had wanted to leave with Pingzhan, but frowned when she saw that Jiang Wen was in trouble. She said to Pingzhan embarrassedly, "Looks like Jiang Wen's appetite is pretty big. Haha, old friend Shu, you'll have to go first. I'll wait here for a bit. I'll go to your company tomorrow to discuss the details." "That's not a problem. I'll be leaving first then. See you tomorrow, old friend," and Pingzhan nodded with a smile. The two seemed to be having a good conversation, as if they were back to their old friendship. Pingzhan, Lin Yi, and the others walked out of the restaurant together. Meng Yao was confused when she saw Pingzhan's red face. "Daddy, you seem to be having a good conversation with that Uncle Lin?" "Yeah, your Uncle Lin is planning to invest in a big project in Songshan, and he invited me to participate in it," Pingzhan said excitedly. "Our group's development has reached a bottleneck. It's easy to maintain our performance, but it's hard to expand. If your Uncle An's project succeeds, our group will rise to the next level." "Daddy, you want to work with Uncle Lin?" Meng Yao frowned. "Their family doesn't do any proper business, right?" "Haha, don't worry, Yao Yao. I know what I'm doing. I won't participate in anything illegal. We're talking about a proper business. There won't be any problems,"
Pingzhan said.
"That's good." Meng Yao was just reminding him, but her father was saying that it shouldn't be a problem. After all, her father was a veteran in the business world, and he knew what he was doing. He was much stronger than Meng Yao. Lin Yi, on the other hand, wasn't too optimistic about the cooperation between Pingzhan and Ming Yue. He had the same worries as Meng Yao, but Lin Yi didn't say anything after Meng Yao asked. He might be the second largest shareholder of Pingzhan Industries, but he didn't really care about the company's business. As a result, he didn't want to interfere in the company's business. Pingzhan wouldn't participate in a problematic business, so Lin Yi didn't interfere. I heard from Yao Yao that you're bringing her, Shu, and Tang Yin back to your hometown?" Pingzhan changed the topic and asked Lin Yi. Yeah, I plan to leave in a few days, Lenny said. Uncle Chu, is there anything I can help you with? It's nothing. I was planning to visit with you, but I've just finished a big project here, and I can't leave for a while. I'm sorry, Pengzhan said apologetically. It's nothing. We're just going back for a vacation. Lenny smiled. But Uncle Chu, you should be careful of Hausen. Since the conversation had come to this point, Lenny took the opportunity to remind her. Of course, Pengzhan said, the cooperation with Hausen is something I've thought about. On one hand, we're old friends, and I can't let them go. On the other hand, I've seen this project, and it'll be very profitable if it succeeds. It'll bring Pengzhan Industries to a higher level. That's good. Lin Yi didn't say anything. Pengzhan was a veteran in business, and Lin Yi didn't know a thing about it. He could solve some problems with violence, but he didn't have much of a say when it came to business partnerships. In the parking lot, Lin Yi and Pengzhan separated. Pengzhan had Falbert pick him up, and Lin Yi drove back to the villa with Yao Yao and the others. He got 8 million from Jiangwen today, and it was enough for the orphanage. As for the other funds, Lin Yi could think of other ways. Lin Yi wanted to borrow some from Pengzhan, but he heard that Pengzhan was going to do a big project today, and Lin Yi didn't mention it again. Chapter 17:27. Not enough to earn. Daddy's acting a little weird today. Before, he kept his distance from Jiangwen's family, but now he's working with them again. Meng Yao complained after getting in the car. After all, she had more chances to meet Jiangwen, and it was troublesome to deal with him. I've heard of a saying, but I don't know if it's true. But in the business world, there are no true enemies and friends. As long as there's a common interest, enemies can become friends. Tang Yin said, I wonder if that's the case, Uncle Chu. I think so. Daddy's doing business is quite amazing. Meng Yao nodded. Tang Yin was talking about too many cases like this. Many companies that were suing each other turned into strategic partners in the blink of an eye. It wasn't a surprise that Pengzhan and Mingyue were working together. Let's see. Uncle Chu should know what he's doing, Lin Yi said. Meng Yao nodded and didn't say anything else. After getting home, the group packed their luggage and went back to West Star Village with Lin Yi. Of course, they had to go shopping before they left. As the saying goes, before the army moves, the food moves first. Meng Yao wanted to buy some things and mail them back first to avoid the awkwardness of not having anything. It was still early, so Meng Yao and the group went to the supermarket. In the supermarket, Tang Yun was a little worried. She felt like an ugly daughter-in-law meeting her parents-in-law. She had been with Lin Yi for so long, but she hadn't visited Lin Yi's elders yet. Would old Lin, who raised him, like her? Besides, Tang Yin wanted to buy a gift, but she didn't know what to buy. She held Meng Yao's hand and asked hesitantly, Yao Yao, what do you think I should buy? Although Lin Yi said that we don't need to buy anything, it's still a thought, right? If I really go to his house without bringing anything, will he think that I'm immature? Well, I'm definitely going to buy it, but I can't really tell you what to buy. I don't know what Grandpa Lin likes. Meng Yao said, a little troubled. I don't know what he likes. Old man, it's nothing more than drinking and whatnot. Maybe we should buy some good stuff back? Yu Shu suggested. My grandpa likes to drink. That works too. I think people usually give these things to their elders. Meng Yao said. Daddy always brings these things when he goes to Grandpa's house. Then let's buy a bar. But what should I buy? Tang Yun hesitated, not knowing what to buy. Why don't we ask Lin Yi? He knows us the best. Meng Yao couldn't make up her mind. Lin Yi didn't go shopping with the girls, leaving the bodyguard role to Wu Qintian, who had just returned to Songshan. He himself went to the orphanage's place of residence. This was an old-fashioned residential area, very similar to the place where Qin Shi's family lived. The top floor of each building was the kind of 6-story attic room. Although it looked like a duplex, in fact, because these buildings were built for too long, the condition of the top floor was very poor. Leakage was common, and the landlord, because the rent was cheap, would not be responsible for maintenance. Lin Yi couldn't help but shake his head when he saw this condition. It was really hard on these kids, and that miser, Yu Xiaoka. But whether she was a miser or a miser, She still lived in a place like this. She didn't want to spend a lot of money on building an orphanage. How could she live if she ran out of money? Sihua and Boss Zhu came to a simple agreement with the dean of the orphanage, exchanging a piece of land that was 5 times bigger than the orphanage's land. It seemed like the orphanage had a huge advantage, but that wasn't the case. The new land was located in a very remote area, at the edge of the city. It belonged to the suburbs, and the price of the land was much lower than the orphanage's land. It wasn't an exaggeration to say that there was a difference of 5 times. The problem was that Sihua only calculated the price of the land and didn't include the original house. Sihua's reason was simple. The house was burned down, so how could he give them compensation? Exchanging land of the same value was a matter of course and was very fair. Although the dean wasn't willing, there was no other way. The house was gone, and she didn't have any bargaining chips in her hands. She had to do whatever Sihua said. Besides, Sihua didn't want to make a big deal out of this, so he didn't let the orphanage suffer any losses when exchanging the land. The problem was that the orphanage had a huge piece of land, and they didn't have the money to build it. This was the biggest problem. Sihua and Boss Zhu went back to the floating cloud bar, ready to take credit for what they did, but all they saw was a burnt-down area. Qibing, on the other hand, was sitting in an SUV not far away. Sihua jumped in fright as he ran to the SUV. Master Bing, what's going on? Is the bar on fire? Yeah, Qibing replied faintly. He didn't want to explain too much due to the humiliation. He was waiting for Elder Bai to heal him, and if it weren't for the fact that Elder Bai couldn't find another place, Sihua wouldn't be able to see Qibing. What's going on? Sihua asked. Since Elder Bai was coming, Qibing didn't want to explain too much. Nothing. How's it going on your side? Congratulations, Master Bing. Under the threats and promises of Boss Zhu and I, the headmaster of the orphanage finally gave in and agreed to exchange the land with us. Now the orphanage's land is ours, Sihua said quickly. Although the value of the land was about the same, Sihua was the one who got the better end of the deal. The land in the suburbs was useless to Sihua at all, and no one would buy it unless it was used to build a factory or something. But that was a rare occurrence, and Sihua's land was useless to him at the moment. Exchanging it to the orphanage was a huge win for him. Congratulations, my ass. Qibing couldn't hold it in anymore after hearing Sihua's words. Master Bing, we actually got the better end of the deal. That land is priceless. No one wants it, Sihua said carefully. Better? I lost 200 million to Lin Yi just because of this fire. Look, Lin Yi broke my leg, and the bar was burned down by Lin Yi. Qibing said, look at me, I've lost so much. You're still taking advantage? Chapter 17:28. Sihua was dumbfounded after hearing Qibing's words. He didn't notice Qibing's leg when he was sitting here, but now he realized that it was all Lin Yi's doing. All right, it's enough that you know about it. Don't mention it again. I'll wait for Master to come and treat me.
You know what to say then, right?
Qibing asked. Chapter 17:34. I know, Master Bing. I'll take responsibility for this myself. You're an innocent victim, Sihua said with a serious face. And not bad. Qibing nodded in satisfaction. Lin Yi pressed the doorbell. Ken was the one who'd given him the address, but he wasn't sure if it was correct or not. The buildings in this residential area didn't have numbers, and he'd had to ask around before finding this place. Soon, Xiaoka's voice came from the door. Who is it? It's me, Lin Yi, Lin Yi said. Lin Yi. Following Xiaoka's confused voice, the door was opened. Xiaoka's face was full of surprise. Why are you here? And why are you here? Xiaoka couldn't be blamed. She didn't tell Lin Yi about the orphanage, and even if Lin Yi heard about it on the news, he wouldn't be able to find his way here. Holy hall, Lin Yi, big bro, you're here. Xiao Ken ran out of the house and was very enthusiastic when he saw Lin Yi. Xiao Ken, did you tell him? Xiaoka wasn't stupid. She could guess what happened when she saw Xiao Ken and Lin Yi being so friendly. Xiaoka sis. Xiao Ken was embarrassed that Xiaoka exposed him. I just mentioned it casually and Linny Big Bro came to help. Casually mentioned it? He came? Xiaoke couldn't believe it. She glared at Xiao Ken. Tell me the truth, did you ask Linny to help? Alright, I did, but Linny Big Bro isn't an outsider. Xiao Ken lowered his head and mumbled. Not an outsider? Xiaoke's eyes widened. Could it be someone from the orphanage? Isn't he your boyfriend? Xiaoke sis. I was thinking. So I asked him to come. Xiao Ken said carefully. Xiaoke's face turned red. She wanted to say that, but Lin Yi wasn't her boyfriend. But saying it in front of Lin Yi hurt her self-esteem. Plus, Lin Yi was here to help. How could Xiaoke say something like that? Haha, it's not his fault, I asked to come. Lin Yi, naturally, knew what Xiaoke was thinking, but he didn't mind. I brought some money for you guys this time. Consider it as a solution to your urgent need. I heard that rebuilding the orphanage requires a lot of money, but I only have 8 million for now. You guys build a modern orphanage first and plan all the necessary facilities. I'll think of a way to get the funds later. Xiaoke nodded. Wow, Lin Yi Big Bro, you're the best. You came just in time. Xiao Ken didn't think that Lin Yi would send 8 million at once, and it was just the initial funds. There would be more later, too. He was extremely excited. He actually agreed to build a bigger orphanage as well. That way, they could take in more abandoned babies and homeless children. 8 million. Xiaoke looked at Lin Yi in shock. She couldn't understand why Lin Yi would suddenly send 8 million to the orphanage. Based on her understanding of Lin Yi, he wasn't that kind of person, was he? Was it really like what Xiao Ken said? Did Lin Yi misunderstand something? But didn't Lin Yi have a girlfriend? And he was still thinking about her? The dean of the orphanage, on the other hand, was happy to see Lin Yi's timely help, but she was also suspicious of Lin Yi's intentions. She didn't know about the male thief, so she thought that Lin Yi really had some kind of relationship with Xiaoke. It's already been transferred to the account you told me about last time. Lin Yi said, you can check. It should be in the account already. Lin Yi, you come with me for a second. Xiaoke gritted her teeth and decided to come clean with Lin Yi. She couldn't just take advantage of Lin Yi like this, could she? She didn't like him, and some things had to be made clear. Otherwise, if he really misunderstood, how could she repay him in the future? If she didn't have a male thief in her heart, she could just do what she said before and pay him back with her body. But she already had someone in her heart, and she didn't want to betray the male thief. That was why she wanted to make things clear with Lin Yi. Oh. Lin Yi paused. He really didn't think much of it. He really wanted to do something for the orphanage. Xiaoke's actions in the tomb deeply touched Lin Yi, and that was why Lin Yi was willing to help her. He didn't want Xiaoke to have anything in return. Otherwise, wouldn't it be better to send money as the male thief? Then Xiaoke might even repay him with her body, but that wasn't Lin Yi's original intention. But Xiaoke had already turned around and left the room, so he had no choice but to follow her. Xiaoke closed the door in the corridor and stopped at the corner of the stairs. What's the matter? Lin Yi looked at Xiaoke oddly. Do you like me and want to please me? Xiaoke stared at Lin Yi and lowered her voice, biting her lips. Lin Yi paused. I like you? Please you? What are you talking about? Isn't that so? Then why are you giving us money for no reason? Xiaoke was confused by Lin Yi's reaction, but she didn't believe that Lin Yi was being nice. From her perspective, someone who did things for no reason must be hiding evil intentions. The two weren't close, and Lin Yi and the others had already done their best with that donation. There was no need for him to give them money now. Plus, the amount of money he gave this time was a lot more than the total amount he donated last time. Xiaoke couldn't help but be suspicious. To tell the truth, if it weren't for the fact that he had a deeper understanding of Xiaoke in the tomb, he wouldn't have bothered to give her money. It's all because of Xiao Ken saying that you guys are in a difficult situation. Lin Yi smiled bitterly. What did you think? That you were thinking too much? I thought you had some ulterior motives. I have someone I like, and he's 1,000 times better than you, so if you have other motives, then don't think too much. Xiaoke sighed in relief after saying that. Lin Yi was speechless. Someone you like is 100, 1,000 times better than me? Are you saying that I have a split personality or something? Lin Yi didn't know whether to laugh or cry. I know you have someone you like, and I don't like your skills. Chapter 17:29. It's better if you don't like it. Xiaoke let out a breath of relief and smiled. I'm sorry, I almost misunderstood you. Are you really just here to help? Forget it. Give me back my money. Lin Yi didn't want to argue with Xiaoke and tried to scare her. No. Xiaoke needed money, and as long as she knew that Lin Yi didn't have any other motives, how could a little money grubber like her give up the money so easily? I heard that you're going to take on some kind of mission? Lin Yi asked. Xiaoke told you? Xiaoke pouted. He's quite nice to you. Don't go. I'll think of a way to get the rest of the money for you. With your level, you might not be able to come back. Lin Yi said, if there's nothing else, I'll be going. I might have to go somewhere far. Tell Xiaoke to call me if there's anything. With that, he turned around and went downstairs. He waved goodbye to Xiaoke and didn't stay for long. Since when did Lin Yi become so caring? Xiaoke looked at Lin Yi's back, confused. But suddenly, she blinked and rubbed her eyes. Because in that instant, she realized that Lin Yi's back gave her a very familiar feeling. This feeling made her heart beat faster, uncontrollably. But when Xiaoke wanted to take a closer look, Lin Yi's figure had already disappeared into the stairs of the next floor. Xiaoke couldn't see it even if she wanted to. Xiaoke shook her head, not knowing why she had this feeling. But she didn't think much about it and quickly went back to her room. Xiaoke sis, where's Lin Yi Gage? Did he leave? Xiaoke saw that Xiaoke came back alone and asked curiously. He's busy, so he left first. Xiaoke said.
Then,
did he say anything to you? Xiaoke saw that Xiaoke's expression was very natural, as if nothing had happened between the two. He was a little disappointed. Xiaoke saw Xiaoke as a goddess, but he knew that he wasn't good enough for her. Plus, this worship had nothing to do with love. Only a powerful person like Lin Yi could take good care of Sister Xiaoke, so Xiaoke was very optimistic about Lin Yi. The key was that he had promised Lin Yi to keep it a secret and not reveal his identity. Sister Xiaoke didn't seem to like Lin Yi very much, so Xiaoke was anxious, but he couldn't say it directly, so he could only ask vaguely. Say what? Xiaoke looked at the worried expression on Ken's face and felt suspicious. I say, Ken, is there some secret between you and Lin Yi? What did he say to you? No.
no.
Ken shook his head determinedly. He'd promised Lin Yi that he wouldn't divulge anything. He was a man, so he naturally had to keep his word. Takira, then why are you asking me what he said to me and what he did? What do you know? Xiaoke still didn't believe him. Actually, I think that Lin Yi bro is a good guy. That male thief is too vague for you, Xiaoke sis. Lin Yi bro is more practical, right in front of you. Xiaoke said. Anyways, I support you and Lin Yi bro being together. What do you know, kid? Xiaoke said helplessly. Plus, Lin Yi didn't mean that. He just wanted to do something good out of kindness. He has a girlfriend, so don't think too much. Oh. Xiaoke had no choice but to keep his mouth shut. He thought that he should say some good things about Lin Yi to Xiaoke in the future. It would be useful. Just when the orphanage was celebrating with a large sum of money, the dean was a little worried. Xiaoke had explained that Lin Yi was just doing a good deed, but from the old dean's perspective, there was something fishy about this whole thing. Lin Yi's 8 million was a little too much. Even the dean couldn't believe that Lin Yi didn't have any ulterior motives, but Xiaoke said it with certainty, and Lin Yi didn't seem to have any ulterior motives. Could it be that he was thinking too much? But no matter what, they had money now. It was a good thing. Tomorrow, the dean could hire a design company to study the construction of the orphanage. Lin Yi had just left Xiaoke's place when his phone rang. He thought it was Tang Yun and the others, but it was Ling Shan. Shan, you're back in Songshan? Lin Yi was a little surprised. Yeah, I just came back. I still have work to do here, and I can't stay at the house all the time. Ling Shan paused, her tone a little weird. Plus, I was kicked out. Grandpa told me to meet up with you in Songsan. Meet up with me? Lin Yi blinked. Why do you want to meet up with me? I want to pursue you. Do I have to make it so clear? Lingshan was a little troubled. Grandpa thinks of you as the hope of our family's rise, and he wants me to stick to you. Huh? Then are you annoyed? Lin Yi didn't know what to say. Of course not, I've always liked you. Lingshan was the bolder type, admitting whatever she had. She wasn't shy at all.
Let's not talk about that.
You called to tell me that you're back? Lin Yi wanted to contact Tang Yun and the others as soon as possible, so he didn't have time to chat with Lingshan. No, I haven't been here for a few days and I've got a few cases backlog.
Can you help me?
Lingshan said. I knew you wouldn't call me for anything good. Using me as free labor? I'll be going out for a few days, so I don't have time. Lin Yi said. Help me, please. Lingshan's tone was a little coy as she said to Lin Yi. I really have a lot of cases to take care of, and I can't handle all of them. Can you help me with one? Tell me about it. Lin Yi couldn't take it anymore. Recently, there's a new gang active in Songsan. They're using street kids and kidnapped children to steal, but on the surface, they're just street performers. I can't do anything to them, because I don't have any evidence. Aren't you close with Yu Xiaoke? Can you ask the orphanage if there's any news about it? Lingshan and Xiaoke weren't on good terms. She knew that Xiaoke was a thief for the orphanage, so she let her off the hook. However, Lingshan didn't want to approach her proactively, so she could only ask Lin Yi for help. Chapter 1730. After all, the orphanage should have had contact with the kidnappers before. These small gangs would buy some orphans from illegal orphanages to help them commit crimes. Of course, Xiaoke wouldn't do something like that, but these people might have had contact with Xiaoke before. Oh, okay, I'll keep an eye out for you, Lin Yi said. But it's hard to say if there's any news. Okay, thank you so much. Contact me if there's any news, Lingshan said. Lin Yi shook his head and hung up. As expected, Tang Yun's call came in as soon as he hung up. Inin, where are you guys? I'm done here. I'll come find you guys? Lin Yi asked. Lin Yi, we're at the supermarket we always go to. Tang Yun said. I want to buy Grandpa Lin a present, but I don't know what to get. What do you think I should get? For him? There's no need for that, right? Lin Yi and old Lin didn't have much of a relationship, and he hadn't bought anything for him all these years. In fact, Lin Yi didn't have much money in his pocket, and other than some living expenses, he gave the rest to old Lin. Holy Hall. How can I do that? Mom said that I need to buy something when I'm meeting an elder for the first time. Tang Yin thought that if someone as stingy as her mom said that, then it had to be a very important etiquette. Then let's buy a few bottles of ergotu, Lin Yi said after some thought. Old Lin loved drinking, but he couldn't bear to buy it. He always brewed his own wine, and only when he ran out of wine would he go to Widow Wong's store and buy a bottle of ergotu to satisfy his craving. But to be honest, old Lin's medical skills were great, but his brewing skills weren't that great. The alcohol he brewed wasn't high, and so he preferred ergotu. He used to compete with Lin Yi in drinking, but Lin Yi couldn't get drunk after 1,000 cups. So he said, it's a waste for you to drink ergotu.
Drink some water with me.
Ergotu? Tang Yin paused. She knew that this kind of alcohol was cheap. Her father used to drink ergotu by himself when his leg was broken, so it couldn't be expensive. Wasn't it a little inappropriate to give it to an elder? Yeah, buy a box for him. He likes to drink ergotu and eat fennel beans the most. Lin Yi said, if you buy other foreign wines, he won't be used to it. Oh, all right then. Hearing Lin Yi's determination, Tang Yun could only nod and agree. Wait for me, I'll go find you. Lin Yi went downstairs and drove to the supermarket. At the same time, in the cafeteria, Jiang Wen was eating with a bitter face, and Mingyue was helping him. And Mingyue couldn't bear to let his son eat alone, so he ate with him. If it wasn't for the fact that Jiang Wen was afraid of being filmed, he would have smashed the plate and left already. But if this was really put on display, his name as the song's Han young master would have been humiliated.
Dad, how was it?
Did it go well? Jiang Wen tried to find a topic to talk about as he ate. Very well. And Minghua said, that hypnotist is really good. Pengzhan believes everything I say. If it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have been able to invite Pengzhan out so easily. I didn't expect him to be able to hypnotize people over the phone. Haha, of course, that's a powerful person the vice leader sent to help me get money. He's very powerful along with Professor Een and the others. They're all core members of the Firewolves. Jiang Wen said proudly, he can even hypnotize an idiot, let alone a normal person like Pengzhan. Jiang Wen, your position in the Firewolves has already surpassed mine. You've done well. Who knows, you might even be able to enter the core of the Firewolves in the future. If that happens, our house will have a bright future ahead of us. And Minghua praised. And Minghua really didn't know what to say about this son of hers. He was much braver than Enjanda, and the things he did seemed to be impulsive and stupid. But every time he did something, he would get huge amounts of money for the Firewolves.
And Minghua didn't know what to say.
But if you let the hypnotist and Professor Een do private things for us, would they have any objections? And Minghua lowered his voice and asked, them? I'm in front of them right now, and my words carry weight. I need to get some benefits for my house when I'm doing things for the Firewolves. Jiang Wen shook his head and said proudly, I'm resting now, and they have nothing better to do. Even if the Firewolves find out, they won't say anything. My contribution to the Firewolves is hundreds of times more than the others. That's true. And Minghua sighed. His son had the right to be proud now. He could use all the core resources of the Firewolves, and it showed how much the Firewolves valued him. What he said wasn't wrong. While earning money for the Firewolf gang, earning some money for his own family was nothing. This time, I need to make sure that Pengzhan has nowhere else to go. That's the only way I can make Mengyao marry me. Jiang Wen's eyes burned with desire as he thought about it. Jiang Wen, with your current status and power, what kind of girl can't you get? Why are you so obsessed with Mengyao? And Minghua didn't understand what his son was thinking. Although House Chu had Lin Yi behind them, and they looked powerful, and Minghua didn't really care about them. They were just a noble house, and Minghua didn't think much of them even though they were a hidden noble house. As far as he was concerned, Mengyao was just a poor young miss after he took over Pengzhan's businesses. Was there a need for Jiang Wen to care about her so much? Father, you don't understand. It's a childhood obsession, Jiang Wen said. If I can't get Mengyao, I'll always regret it. Maybe after I get her, I'll think that it's nothing, but if I can't get her, I'll never be satisfied. All right, if you want to do it, then do it. You're all grown up now. You know what you're doing. And Minghua stopped trying to stop him. Right, make sure you do a clean job on taking over Pengzhan Industries. Don't let House Chu know about it. I don't want to be the bad guy and make Mengyao hate me, Jiang Wen said. I want her body and her heart. Don't worry, I'm a veteran in the business world. I can handle things like this. Plus, with the help of a hypnotist, there won't be a problem. And Minghua said, that's good. Jiang Wen nodded in relief. Right, I heard that big bro of mine isn't satisfied and came back to work. Chapter 1731. Jianda? Yes, he's back. And Minghua sighed and said, he always felt that he was the one who laid the foundation for the business you took over. He felt that the glory you have now should belong to him. So he was not satisfied. So he applied to the Firewolves gang and came back from the border. He wanted to be like you and use these methods to make money. His courage. Jiang Wen curled his lips. It's fine if he's a coward, but he's not smart either. I don't know why the Firewolves agreed to let him come back. His contributions to the Firewolves weren't small, but of course, compared to yours, it's much smaller. And Minghua said, of course, he came back to work just to take care of his emotions. As for assistance, they won't give him any powerful people. I think he wants to fight with me for the position of the head of Housen, right? Jiang Wen seemed to have seen through Enjanda's thoughts. He's the big brother, of course, it's not surprising. And Minghua said, but you don't have to care about him, just do your own thing. The Firewolves aren't idiots, they know who's stronger. I understand. Jiang Wen nodded. I'm just saying, let him do what he wants. Lin Yi drove to the supermarket, and Lin Yi saw Ming Yao's Audi S5 in the parking lot. He parked beside her car and entered the supermarket. Saints Lin Yi was very good at finding people, and so he quickly found Tang Yun and the others who were buying ergotu. Yun, you don't need to buy that much, right? Lin Yi didn't know whether to laugh or cry when he saw Tang Yun buying 2 boxes of ergotu. Actually, the village sells it too. It's just a token of your sincerity. 1 box is enough. Lin Yi said as he put 1 box back. I see. I was thinking of buying more. Tang Yun was a little embarrassed. Are you guys done? Lin Yi asked. Yeah, almost. Meng Yao pointed at Qintian, who was pushing 2 full carts. I've bought everything I need. Lin Yi took a look and saw Qintian pushing a cart with each hand. It was fortunate that the guy was a practitioner, otherwise normal people wouldn't even be able to push a cart. He didn't know how Meng Yao and the others managed to get there, but the things in the cart were piled up like a small mountain. It's just a vacation. You don't have to be so exaggerated, right? Lin Yi said helplessly. Let's go. Let's go and settle the bill. Thief. There's a thief. Just when Lin Yi and the others were about to pay the bill, Yushu pointed at a pregnant woman not too far away. She's a thief. She stole 2 bottles of red wine. Lin Yi frowned. He didn't want to get involved in this kind of thing. The supermarket security would take care of it, and Xiaoke was a thief as well. Maybe the pregnant woman had something she couldn't disclose, so Lin Yi didn't want to get involved. Chapter 333. But with Yushu's shout, they had no choice but to take care of it. All the customers around them turned to look at the direction Yushu was pointing at, and the supermarket's security came running over after hearing the shout. Shu, is she really a thief?
Did you see it?
Meng Yao was actually quite a righteous person, but she hesitated when she saw that the thief was a pregnant woman. Wouldn't it be difficult for a pregnant woman to steal things? Where's the thief? Who is the thief? At this time, the security guard in the mall also quickly ran over, looked at the crowd, and asked. No one answered, but everyone's eyes were on the pregnant woman near the wine rack. They were here to watch the commotion, and they didn't see the theft. Naturally, they wouldn't say anything. It's her. I saw her steal 2 bottles of wine. Yushu pointed at the pregnant woman. The security guard frowned. This kind of pregnant woman thief was their biggest headache, and they didn't know how to deal with it. If they were not careful and something happened, it would be a big deal. Not only would they lose their jobs, but they would also have to pay for it. So the leader of the security was very cautious, and he said to the others, Don't let her leave. I'll call the police immediately. But before they could say anything, the pregnant woman turned around and wanted to leave. Mom, you can't leave yet. Please wait for the police to come, okay? One of the securities stopped the pregnant woman and said carefully, Why can't I leave?
Why?
Because she called me a thief? The pregnant woman was angry, and she pointed at Yushu and said, Then I called her a thief too. I only have this small purse with me. Where am I going to steal anything? The security was speechless, and he didn't know what to do. Ouch, my stomach hurts. The pregnant woman suddenly held her stomach and said, Is this how you treat a pregnant woman in the supermarket? I'm going to the hospital. Move. The security looked at the security captain helplessly. The security captain also looked at Yushu with a troubled look. If he really lost something in the supermarket, and he let the suspect go, the boss would definitely blame him. But if he didn't let her go now, it'd be troublesome if something happened. Moreover, looking at the price of the wine on the shelf behind her, they were all measured in units of 10,000. If she really stole it, he wouldn't be able to bear the responsibility. She's pregnant, but she has 2 bottles of wine in her stomach. Yushu pointed at the pregnant woman and said, Buffed. The people at the scene heard Yushu's words, and they almost burst into laughter. So this pregnant woman was fake, and she hid the wine in her stomach? No wonder she said that she only had a small purse with her and nothing else. So this was the reason. Can you open your clothes and have a look? The security captain heard Yushu's words, and he calmed down. Normally, if people weren't sure, they wouldn't be so confident. My stomach hurts. It hurts so much. The pregnant woman suddenly lay on the ground, her hands covering her stomach, and then she shouted, "Wife, wife, what's wrong?" At this time, a man with a scar on his face ran out from the crowd, pushed the security captain away, and hugged the pregnant woman lying on the ground, and shouted to the security captain, "My wife needs to be sent to the hospital immediately. I'll sue your supermarket. If anything happens to my wife, I'll sue you for murder." The security captain didn't expect that another pregnant woman's husband would come and say such harsh words, which made him hesitate. It wasn't easy for him to do this job. He was sandwiched between the boss and the customer, so when he heard the man's words, he flinched. Chapter 1732. Linny frowned. He didn't want to waste any more time here, so he quickly walked to the pregnant woman and lifted the hem of her clothes. He took out a big bag, and the pregnant woman's belly deflated. He opened the big bag, and it was filled with famous cigarettes and alcohol, worth hundreds of thousands. Linny was a doctor, and it was easy for him to tell if the woman was pregnant or not. Since he was sure that she wasn't, he didn't need to spoil her. "So it's fake. There's a bag in her belly." The crowd said, "Yeah, this woman is actually pregnant with famous cigarettes and wine. This is really amazing. Whoever finds such a wife will be rich." Another person in the crowd said with a smile, Please come with us to the security room." The security captain saw this and wasn't afraid anymore. Even if the pregnant woman was fake, there wouldn't be a problem. However, just when everyone was cheering, the man who claimed to be the pregnant woman's husband disappeared. When the security captain wanted to invite the man to the security room, he realized that the man had already left. Although Linny saw that the man had left, he didn't stop him. He had done enough. The group paid the bill and went to the parking lot. They loaded the things they bought into the car, and just as they closed the door, they were surrounded by a few people. Since the parking lot was open air and there were no surveillance cameras, these people were very unscrupulous. "Guys, you've done a good job, and now you want to leave?" Among these people, the leader was the man who claimed to be the pregnant woman's husband. Behind him were two strong men, and it was obvious that they weren't good people. In terms of numbers, there were 2 men and 3 women on Linny's side. It seemed like they had the advantage, but in fact, there were 2 strong men on Scarface's side. In terms of size, they obviously had an advantage over Lin Yi and Wu Qintian. "There's still a bonus if we don't leave?" Lin Yi asked. "Bonus? Are you dreaming? You ruined my good thing, and you still want a bonus?" Scarface sneered and stopped joking with Linny. Land Rover Discovery 4, Audi S5. "Not bad. You're quite rich, aren't you? Today you've caused me to lose more than 100,000 yuan. My wife has also lost her life. Don't you think you should give me some compensation? Your wife pretended to be pregnant and stole, and you still want compensation? Why are you so dumb?" Yushu said, "Shield bro, ignore him. Let's go home." "That's true. Let's go." Linny shrugged and was about to get into the car. "Kid, do you think I'm messing with you? Get in the car. I'm telling you, I'm going to detain your car. If you don't get 200,000, no, 500,000 yuan, don't even think about driving your car back." As Scarface spoke, he winked at a burly man beside him and said, "Teach them a lesson." "Yes." One of the burly men responded, and then laughed. He took a brick from behind him and said to Linny, "Kid, I think you have too little experience in society. You don't know how high the sky is." As he spoke, he held the brick in his left hand and punched it with his right fist. With a loud bang, the brick shattered. "Kid, before you leave, think about it. Is your head harder or the brick harder?" The burly man who broke the brick patted the dust off his hand and said arrogantly, "Shield bro, is this person a street performer? Why does he look like those people who break rocks on their chests?" Yushu asked curiously. "I think so. Otherwise, who would bring a brick out for no reason?" Lin Yi nodded. "Oh, then I'll give you 10 yuan. You've been working hard, performing for so long." Yushu said as she took out 10 yuan from her pocket and gave it to the burly man. I think you guys don't know how high the sky is, do you? The burly man's face darkened when he heard Yushu's words. He was indeed a street performer, and Yushu hit the nail on the head. Wu Chuntian, you tell him whose fist is harder. Lin Yi said as he looked at Chuntian. Okay, boss. Chuntian couldn't hold it in any longer, but he didn't dare to do anything without Lin Yi's permission. Now that Lin Yi had spoken, he jumped out immediately and walked to the triangular hammer beside the parking lot. He raised his fist and smashed it down, and the solid hammer was smashed into a metal plate. After that, Chuntian shook off the dust on his hands. Idiot, trying to act tough in front of my boss? Think about it first. Is your head harder, or is this iron all harder?
What?
The burly man and Scarface were dumbfounded. They never would have thought that they would meet a tough opponent today. They were just punching a brick, but the other side was smashing a metal plate into a metal plate. It was clear who was better. Get the hell out of here, if you don't want to die. What the hell? Chuntian humphed and returned to Lin Yi's side. Let's go. Lin Yi didn't bother with Scarface anymore and got in the Rover. Chuntian got in Mengyao's Audi S5, but Tang Yun, Mengyao, and Yushu all sat in Lin Yi's car. The two cars sped away in front of Scarface, leaving him staring at the metal plate on the ground in disbelief. Scarface bro, this seems real. This metal plate really was smashed into a metal plate. The burly man said in shock as he looked at the metal plate on the ground. Bullshit, of course I know it's real. Scarface raged. Do you think I'd let them leave if it wasn't real? Then now we. The burly man asked carefully. Fuck, we had a bad start. Let's go back and think of a way to explain to Bro sent us out to get money, but we didn't get any money. Instead, we got caught in the supermarket, and now we're being threatened, Scarface said unhappily. Lin Yi didn't mind this little interlude. After returning to the villa, everyone started to get busy. They packed the things they bought, and some daily necessities. Most of them were going to be mailed back, and only a small amount was left in the car. The next morning after they mailed the things, they started their journey. Lin Yi originally wanted to find some tourist attractions along the way, but Tang Yun and the others seemed to want to get to Star West Village first. They weren't interested in the tourist attractions, so Lin Yi chose the shortest route and went straight to Star West Village. Chapter 1733. Distinguished guests arrive on the day Lin Yi departed. The Kong family also welcomed two uninvited guests. Kong Guifeng looked at the two strangers in front of his house and was a little confused. He didn't know who they were, but judging from their temperament, they were very extraordinary. So, Kong Guifeng didn't dare to neglect them. He quickly asked, May I ask, why are you two visiting our Kong family? Are you from the Kong family? Among the two, one of them was obviously a follower and asked Kong Guifeng. Yes, I am the eldest son of the Kong family, Kong Guifeng. May I ask who you two are? Kong Guifeng asked hesitantly. This is the young master of the Hidden Yu family, Yu Zhentian. Why aren't you opening the door and letting the master of the Kong family come out to welcome you? The follower looked at Kong Guifeng and said arrogantly. Hidden Yu family? Kong Guifeng was a little dumbfounded when he heard this name. Within his range of contact, the families in the secular world were already unreachable. But the hidden families were as high as the sky. Although he knew about the hidden families, he had only heard of them. He had never come into contact with them. At this time, a hidden family suddenly came to visit. This made Kong Guifeng a little lost. However, he knew that the hidden families were superior to the Kong family. Third, you, don't be so blunt. Although we are a hidden family, Master Kang's seniority is there. There's no need to let him come out to welcome us. Yu Zhentian waved his hand and said, The Hidden Yu family came this time to cooperate with the Kong family, so they wouldn't be too arrogant. How can we do that? Both of you are from a hidden family. I will let someone open the door and let my father come out to welcome the two distinguished guests. Kong Guifeng knew that Yu Zhentian was probably just being polite, so he didn't dare to neglect him. He quickly ordered a few servants at the door to open the door and quickly called Dr. Kong. Dr. Kong didn't have a good time these few days. He couldn't compete for the title of a noble family. Not only that, but the Kong family had been completely excluded from the sphere of influence of the noble families. In the territory of the member families of the Cultivator Association led by Lin Yi, the Kong family's business would probably have a hard time. He previously wanted to cooperate with the Xiao family and form an alliance with the Hidden Pai family, but he didn't know if they would take a liking to the Kong family. Miracle Dr. Kang's phone rang as he was worrying about it. Hello. Miracle Dr. Kong snapped out of his daze and quickly picked up the phone. This was his private number, and only House Xiao and his own people knew about it, so Miracle Dr. Kong took it very seriously. Father, I'm Gui Feng. Gui Feng said. Gui Feng? Why didn't you tell me? Why are you calling from home? Dr. Kong was confused. Father, there are 2 distinguished guests at home. Bring your brother and the younger generation and come out to welcome them. Kong Gui Feng said hurriedly. Although Yu Xintian was polite, he could not give him face. What distinguished guests? Do I have to welcome them? Could it be the 2 brothers from the Xiao family are here? Dr. Kong was stunned. After all, the 2 brothers from the Xiao family were the younger generation, but no matter how poor the Xiao family was, they still had the support of the Hidden Pai family. The Kong family had nothing. It's the young master of the Hidden Yu family, Kong Gui Feng said. What? The Hidden Yu family? Dr. Kong jumped up from his chair. He didn't expect that someone from a hidden house would come to the Kong family. He said hurriedly, Okay, wait for me. I'll be right there. Dr. Kong hurriedly found Kong Tsuepu, Kong Xiaolong, and Kong Mingming. They came to the entrance of House Kong and saw 2 people with extraordinary auras talking to Kong Gui Feng. Distinguished guests, I am the master of House Kong, Kong like I. Distinguished guests, please. Dr. Kong heard that they were from a hidden house, so naturally, he was very respectful. Master Kong, you don't have to be so polite. We are from the Hidden Yu family. We also research medicine in the hidden house. We are in the same industry. Yu Xintian smiled. Elder Kong, please. Haha, compared to you, we are just small fries. How is this medicine research? Dr. Kong heard the kindness in Yu Xintian's words and was very excited. It seemed that the Hidden Yu family came for a good thing. The few of them came to the Kong family's living room. Yu Third introduced Yu Xintian. Dr. Kong was even more excited. So, it's the young master of House Yu. My apologies for not recognizing you. I heard that House Yu is a medical family that specializes in alchemy. It's a great honor for us to have you as a guest. Old Clan Head Kong, we've come this time around for a certain matter. Yu Xintian waved his hand. You don't have to be so polite. We came here with the intention of learning. Young Master Yu, you're too kind. Just tell us what you want. Dr. Kong heard Yu Xintian's tone and was flattered. It's like this, Yu Xintian said. Our hidden house Yu has a good relationship with the hidden house Pai, and we've received news from him that your house Kong is researching the recipe for the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing. Have you made any progress? Pill of life extension and toxin cleansing? Dr. Kong paused. He immediately understood why House Yu was here. They were here for the recipe for the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing. No wonder they were so polite. However, Dr. Kong knew that he couldn't speak carelessly in front of a hidden family. He could only tell the truth. There is indeed such a thing, but the recipe, we're not researching it, we're stealing it. Stealing? What do you mean? Yu Xintian paused. I'm sure you know about House Yu's auction, young Master Yu?
Dr. Kong asked.
Auction? What auction? Yu Xintian didn't quite understand Dr. Kang's words. Yu Xintian's answer surprised Dr. Kong as well. From what he could see, the hidden House Yu didn't know about House Yu's auction? In reality, the hidden House Yu had never paid attention to the mundane world's matters. The 9 great houses in the mundane world didn't have much contact with the hidden houses, either. Other than the mundane House Yu and the hidden House Yu, even the Xiao family only recently contacted House Pai. So, it was normal that the hidden House Yu didn't pay attention to the mundane world's auction. It's like this. Dr. Kong saw that Yu Xintian really didn't know, so he didn't hide it. He told Yu Xintian everything about how Guan Xueming had made the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing. So you're saying that you're going to steal Guan Xueming's recipe? Yu Xintian frowned. He seemed to have found the wrong partner. He should have gone straight to Guan Xueming. The prequel of Very Pure, Very Ambiguous, contains the origin of Lin Yi's jade. Chapter 1734. Two Families Working Together, Part 1. Yes, House Kong has this plan and it's in progress. Dr. Kong nodded and pointed at Kong Mingming. This matter has always been handled by my grandson, Zhao Ming. Oh, if that's the case, then we'll have to trouble you, old Master Kong. Yu Xintian heard that Dr. Kong didn't have the formula, so he didn't have the mood to talk to them anymore. His next step was to ask Guan Xueming for the formula. Dr. Kong saw that Yu Xintian was about to leave and panicked. It wasn't easy for House Kong to find a backer. If he were to leave just like that, he would regret it to death. Young Master Yu, please wait. At this moment, Kong Mingming spoke. Is there anything else? Yu Xintian frowned and turned his head to look at Kong Xiaoming. He didn't put a junior in his eyes, but he did come with courtesy. Although he didn't get anything, it didn't hurt to be polite when he left. Young Master Yu, may I ask if you want to ask Guan Xueming for the formula? Kong Mingming asked. So what if I am? Yu Xintian asked back. Young Master Yu, you don't know Guan Xueming's personality. If we could get the formula, we would have asked for it a long time ago. Kong Mingming said, Guan Xueming is a person who doesn't listen to persuasion or force. He doesn't seek fame or fortune. House Yu once wanted to make Guan Xueming's family a noble house, but he rejected it. Do you think he would give the formula to such a person directly? Oh. Yu Xintian wasn't an idiot. He understood the meaning behind Kong Mingming's words. He turned around and sat down again. He asked, in your opinion, how should I get this formula? It seemed like House Kong had tried before. Since they didn't succeed, Yu Xintian might not succeed, even if he asked for it. Since Guan Xueming didn't seek fame and fortune, he definitely wouldn't care about the benefits promised by the hidden Yu family. Hence, Yu Xintian sat down again to see what Kong Mingming had to say. Actually, young master, right, if you force him with force, he might hand over the formula. Kong Mingming said, that won't do. I'll use force to force him to hand over the recipe. If the Hidden House Association finds out, they'll definitely come after us. Yu Xintian shook his head. Although the Hidden House Arbitration Association was in danger of collapsing at any time, no one wanted to be the one to test the waters. All the hidden families knew that the great elder of the Arbitration Association had disappeared for many years, but no one knew where he had gone or if he would ever return. Back then, it was said that he made contact with those missing heaven-rank powerhouses and then went to pursue the heavenly law. However, did he disappear with those missing heaven-rank powerhouses, or did he fail in his pursuit of the heavenly law? Or these were all shrouded in mystery. Currently, the Hidden House Arbitration Association was managed by each hidden family and sect with an elder from each family. It was just that each family supervised each other together. But now, each family had thoughts of breaking this rule, but they were afraid that the great elder would suddenly return. Hence, they were all waiting for some hidden family or sect to take the lead and see if the great elder would appear. Hence, under these circumstances, the Hidden Yu family wasn't a fool. Even with the support of the Heavenly Elixir sect, they wouldn't dare to take the lead. In his opinion, whoever wanted to do it could do it. Anyway, the Hidden Yu family wasn't a fool. That's why I said that only our Kong family can be the villain. You Hidden Yu family can only do it in the dark, not in the open. Otherwise, there'll be trouble. Kong Mingming had vaguely heard Xiao Wangba and Xiao Wangdao talk about the hidden family's rules when they were bragging, so he deliberately said that just now. His goal was to prevent the Hidden Yu family from leaving. Since Yu Xintian could become the young master, he naturally wasn't someone to be trifled with. After hearing Kong Mingming's words, he understood what he meant. If you want the formula, The best way is to cooperate with the Kong family. If you don't cooperate with us, then you'll have to be the villain. I'm afraid you'll attract the blame of the Hidden House Arbitration Association. Then, the gains won't make up for the losses. Of course, Yu Tian could also choose to cooperate with others, one in the open and one in the dark. But with a ready-made partner like the Kong family, he didn't need to waste time looking for others. Thinking of this, Yu Tian slowly nodded. What you mean is that your Kong family will be in the open while our Hidden Yu family will help you in the dark. Of course, all the conflicts will be borne by your Kong family, while we only need to do things in the dark. Is that right? That's right. Kong Ming nodded. I actually have a good plan here, but I haven't had a suitable candidate to execute it. If young Master Yu is willing, our two families are a match made in heaven. We'll definitely be able to get the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing's formula this time. Let's talk about it. But let's make this clear first. We can provide manpower, but you definitely can't tell anyone about our Hidden Yu family's activities in the common world. Yu Tian warned. Otherwise, even if the Yu family is blamed, you won't have it any better. Young Master Yu, don't worry. If we're so insensible, we wouldn't be talking about cooperating with you. Kong Ming nodded. All right then, tell me your plan. Yu Tian asked. Dr. Kong didn't expect that the Yu family that was about to leave would be turned around by Kong Ming with just a few words. He was overjoyed and looked at Kong Ming with even more fondness. He really didn't know that this grandson of his was such a talent. The few times when House Kong was in trouble, it was all because of Kong Ming's good ideas. Hence, Dr. Kong increasingly felt that Kong Ming was better than Kong Xiaolong. Although Kong Guifeng didn't feel good, he had to admit that Kong Ming's ability was better than his. No matter what, he was able to make the Hidden Yu family stay and cooperate with the Kong family. That was a great ability. That Guan Shuimin is unmoved by force or persuasion, and he doesn't seek fame or fortune. It can be said that he has no weakness, Kong Ming said. But I know his weakness. Oh, what is it? Unknowingly, Yu Tian was led by the nose by Kong Ming's thoughts. That's his granddaughter, Guan Xian. Guan Shuimin loves this granddaughter very much. If we kidnap her and ask for the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing from Guan Shuimin will definitely give it to us. Kong Ming had this idea for a long time, but he didn't dare to carry it out. Now that the Hidden Yu family was here, he could let them do it. Oh, that's simple? Then your Kong family can do it yourself. Why would you need to cooperate with the Hidden Yu family? Yu Tian wasn't stupid and immediately saw the problem. Hashtag. Chapter 1735. Between the Two Families, Part 2. Young Master Yu is wise. Kong Ming flattered without leaving a trace, then said, Our Kong family doesn't have any cultivators, but Guan Shuimin has a good relationship with a cultivator. That cultivator has the strength of an Earth-class early phase. We don't have any experts in our hands, so how would we dare to kidnap him? Isn't that courting death? Oh? Guan Shuimin has an Earth-class early phase cultivator friend? After Yu Tian heard Kong Ming's words, he was stunned. He didn't expect Guan Shuimin to be so arrogant to have such a friend. But come to think of it, although the Hidden Yu family was a family of medicine and alchemy, they knew the importance of medicine and alchemy in a hidden family, and the Hidden Yu family also recruited many experts to their side. But the key problem was that Guan Shuimin was just an ordinary doctor. It wasn't surprising that he had a few golden class friends, but it was difficult to have a mystic class, let alone an earth class. Yes, that's why we didn't dare to act rashly. Kong Ming nodded and said, Earth-class expert. Yu Tian frowned. When did an Earth-class expert appear in the secular world? And Guan Shuimin's friend? Could it be someone from another hidden family? If that was the case, then it would be difficult. If he really went against Guan Shuimin and offended the other hidden families, wouldn't he be making an enemy for no reason? Kong Ming seemed to see through Yu Tian's worry and quickly said, That Earth-class expert is called Lin Yi. He's a lone cultivator with no background, so you don't have to worry, young master Yu. What?
Lin Yi?
Yu Xintian was stunned. Why was this name so familiar? But in the next moment, he immediately remembered who this person was. Wasn't this the person who injured Yu Coiling Tiger, crippled the blue-haired expert of the family, and caused a ruckus in the hidden Tang family? If Kong Mingming didn't mention this name, Yu Xintian might have retreated a little. But when he heard that it was Lin Yi, Yu Xintian's eyes burned with anger. If it wasn't for Lin Yi, the envoy from the Heavenly Elixir sect wouldn't have been humiliated. Yu Xintian wasn't blamed by the Heavenly Elixir sect because the envoy was too embarrassed to tell them that he was humiliated. But in order to appease the envoy, the hidden Yu Xintian had paid a huge price and privately gave the envoy a lot of money and rare alchemy materials. And this Lin Yi was the Yu family's greatest enemy. When Yu Xintian heard that Guan Xueming's backer was Lin Yi, he was even more confident in dealing with Guan Xueming. Why, young master Yu, do you know this person? Kong Mingming was confused by Yu Xintian's reaction. Of course we know each other. We are enemies. Yu Xintian sneered and said, we can hide the fact that the Yu family is involved in this matter, but you must keep it a secret for us. Don't let the news get out. If anything happens, we will say that the Kong family did it. Can you agree? Yu Xintian had more considerations. First, he was afraid of being blamed by the hidden Tang family's arbitration association. Second, Lin Yi was related to the Ice Palace. Although the hidden Yu family had a backer, it was best not to cause any trouble. Of course, Kong Xiaoming didn't even think about it. House Kong had already fallen out with Lin Yi, so he didn't care about anything else. They could use this opportunity to show Lin Yi Kong family's strength. Lin Yi Kong family also had experts. This was Kong Mingming's intention. He couldn't wait for the Kong family to be in the limelight, because this was the only way to defeat Lin Yi in a dominant manner. Only then could they show the other members of the Cultivator Association that the Kong family was very powerful. What about old Master Kong? Yu Xintian turned to look at Dr. Kong. Of course, Xiaoming's intention is our Kong family's intention. Dr. Kong had the same thought as Kong Mingming. He couldn't wait for others to think this was the Kong family's doing. Only then could they establish their authority. All right. If that's the case, the Yu family will send experts. Yu Xintian nodded. But I can't show up. That's not a problem. But the experts that young Master Yu sends have to listen to my command. Otherwise, it'll be hard for me to do things. Kong Mingming said. All right. Our men are all under your command. I only want results. Yu Xintian didn't care about this. He let Kong Mingming do whatever he wanted as long as it didn't implicate the Yu family. All right, can you send a heaven stage expert? That way, we can suppress Lin Yi. Kong Mingming said. I'm afraid that won't work. Yu Xintian rejected Kong Mingming's suggestion. The number of heaven stage experts in the hidden family level is limited. If something happens, it's easy to guess who did it. Moreover, with the Kong family's current strength, do you think it's possible for you to have a heaven stage expert? Even if you say it out, no one will believe it. They will definitely suspect that there's an inside story. Then, Kong Mingming was a little disappointed. He wanted to control a heaven stage expert. Lin Yi is an earth stage early stage expert. Sigh, this is a little difficult. Yu Xintian pondered for a while and said, Earth stage experts are rare in the secular world. They almost don't exist. It's already strange that the Kong family has won. Moreover, the higher the level of strength, the easier it is to be suspected. How about this? We'll send an Earth stage middle stage expert to help you. This way, he'll be 2 levels higher than Lin Yi and can completely defeat him. That's fine too. Although Kong Mingming didn't reach his expectations, Yu Xintian was right. Who would believe that the Kong family had a heaven stage expert? As for why there's an earth stage expert, you can think of a reason to make it up. Don't involve our hidden Yu family. Yu Xintian said. Of course. Kong Mingming nodded. All right, then it's settled. I'll go back and find a suitable candidate and send him over. Yu Xintian said, and prepared to leave. Wait a minute. Kong Ming stopped Yu Xintian again. Young Master Kong, is there anything else? Yu Xintian's attitude towards Kong Ming was much better this time. He realized that this kid had a lot of tricks up his sleeves, so he gave him some face. Young Master Yu, this matter has been discussed. Then shouldn't we talk about whether our Kong family helped you hide the Yu family and did such a big thing? Are there any benefits? Kong Ming had recently read a few black-bellied books. Although he was still a playboy, the way he handled things was much better than before. Oh, our Yu family is secretly helping you. When we get the formula, we'll both have a share. What's wrong with that? Yu Xintian asked. The formula isn't some other treasure. Can't we just make another copy? You're tuning in to the Dreamy Chapters YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.